Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my fabulous co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. How's it going today, boys?
What up?
What's up? Dude, you horsing around this morning?
Just a little bit of horsing around, you know. March Madness, baby.
Whoa.
Oh,
I was in
it hasn't
danger.
sunk in yet.
I was in danger of potentially missing the show this morning.
Too handsome?
The whole show. Yeah, had a handsome attack.
Too handsome. I hate when that happens.
Not again.
Oh, no.
But no, dude, I actually what happened was it was very cold in my house and it was very warm in my shower, and I almost stayed there for the whole day.
Oh, man, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just hits and you're like, yep, this is home now.
Here we are, dude. Yeah. And then you realize the worst part is when you realize like that you've been in the shower for 15 minutes, but you haven't actually like washed your body at all. That's where I was. I was like, guess I'll wash my face
You've
now.
just been standing there wide-eyed, letting the water hit your back, thinking about everything that's coming up that day. The day's not real until you get out of the shower.
Yeah, and it becomes very real, dude. Very real. And hang out with my real good friends.
Ah, man, just imagine if we could have all hung out in your shower all day.
Oh,
Keith and Erndog were there.
no way.
Yeah, I think Hot Pasta took the day off.
Splish splash.
It was on the schedule, so he missed the shower. But usually I do shower with all the producers.
Just for work, of course.
For work,
Yeah,
yeah.
professionally.
Get in there.
It's you can't make sure you're clean unless Keith's there to confirm.
He's there with like a stopwatch.
Not enough. You missed
And
the
a
spot.
magnifying glass, you're like, he's
Yeah.
like, bend over. You missed the spot.
You missed the spot.
Come on,
Yeah.
dude.
Didn't
We've
miss any
taken how
spots
many
today.
showers together at this point? And you're still trying to skip out.
Yeah, he gives me a hard time, but it's for the best.
It's out of love.
Not a
It's a
lot,
lot of
dude.
love.
Watch baby
I've
clean.
always, I probably say this to my girlfriend once a month that I wish all of my electronics were waterproof and that we had an unlimited hot water heater, because I would just post up in the shower all day, just sit there, have the water raining over me while I get work done. I think that would be the best way to maximize my productiveness, is to have a desk in a shower.
That would be amazing. I know you do. You guys, in talking to you guys seem like you're taking higher level showers than me. Like you seem like you bring electronics with you, and is that not the case? Do you not bring your phone?
I'm
in the
listening to
shower?
audiobooks. I'm watching
Yeah,
I'm watching Netflix in the shower. I'm posting up for a minute.
I gotta step my shower game up. I gotta take it to another level.
Bring in a cup of water. You know what? It's not just about the shower beer, and I know there's water all over, but if you have ice water in a hot shower, phenomenal.
JL, you were saying that you bring your toaster in there and then you take your toast out with a fork.
Yeah, in the shower. Sometimes you just get that. If you can get it right at the time, right when it comes out of the toaster and in the shower, it's like the perfect combo. It just melts in your mouth.
If it doesn't melt in the shower first.
Yeah. Got to be quick with it.
Roll
guys.
the dice a little bit with that move, but I like it.
Those are shower tips brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy. Shower with Keith, bring a desk, and bring a toaster. Front Yard Fantasy.
Yard
There you go,
fantasy.
dude.
Well, we got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Tommy over here, a little poem for us bright and early. He said, Brown is a Bengal. Panthers get Miles Sanders. It's Tampa for Baker and Brissett to the Commanders. Zeke gets cut. Jamal is a Saint. Juju be a Patriot, and Jets feeling great. The moves have been fun. Lots of action so far. Now all eyes go to D-Hop, King Henry, Judy, and Lamar.
Ooh.
That is where the eyes are peeking over there at those other players. That is a great segue, guys, to get into some of that news in a segment we call Bring Your Own Breakfast. We got the news, we got the topics. You guys just got to bring something to eat. John Luke, you got any breakfast this morning?
Nope. I got some water though.
Nope.
Ate a little bit of cinnamon roll mini wheats for breakfast earlier.
That's breakfast. That's breakfast. I had the last of my famous donuts. Rest in peace to those donuts. And also had a banana and some coffee and some chocolate milk. So pretty standard breakfast for me. Just getting after it.
I had a bite of lime chess pie that was sitting in the fridge. The existence of that pie in our fridge, though, is completely my fault. I made a big mistake last week. My girlfriend, apparently, with her friends, had gotten a slice of pie takeout at a restaurant for her birthday and put it in the fridge. And I'd seen this takeout box in there for like 3 days, but was unaware of what it was. And at 1 a.m., I opened the fridge, opened the box, saw the pie. I was like, ooh, sweet. There's a slice of pie in the fridge. Ate the whole thing and found out the next day it was birthday pie. I ate my girlfriend's birthday slice of pie.
Oh no.
The immediate just like, I am so sorry. Like it wasn't like any defense, just like, yep, I screwed up. I ate your birthday pie. So now we have a whole pie in the fridge.
I love that you saw a pie and you were like, yep, I'm gonna eat that bad boy. Don't know where it came from.
At 1 a.m., the thoughts are
that's
simple.
mine.
At 1 a.m., the thoughts are pie. Yeah.
Did it taste better because it was like mysterious, like a pie that you're not supposed to have?
Yeah. All
Mysterious.
pies taste better when you're not supposed to have them.
Mysterious forbidden pie.
The mysterious forbidden pie.
You're like little Eve. Little Eve just eating that pie.
Yeah, dude. That pie was whispering to you like the snake.
Still being punished. Speaking of getting that pie, we had a bunch of players get that pie yesterday, signing some
we did.
big deals.
Yeah, we did.
I don't even know who we should start with this morning. So I'm going to start with one of my favorite players in the NFL, one of your players in the NFL. Jamal Williams is no longer on the Lions. He signed a 3-year deal with the New Orleans Saints down there. Do you think we're going to get some of that Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram style 1-2 punch? Jamal Williams is the new Mark Ingram in this offense?
Oh, I hope so. I feel like Jamal Williams is a upgraded Mark Ingram.
At least compared to the current Mark Ingram.
At least it's taken now into account.
Yeah, I think we're going to get the old Mark Ingram out of Jamal Williams. He's 27 years old. They signed him to a 3-year deal, so they want him around, man. And he's a great character guy. We all know that. So good guy to have in the locker room.
Isn't Alvin Kamara 27 or 28?
He is 20. He turns all those guys turn 27 this offseason. So to me, like I don't care if they're 26 right now. Yeah, like all of them. Like so, I don't care if they're 26 right now. There's a whole group of them that turned 27 this offseason that I lump together. So it's
dude, Thunder and Lightning, same age. Let's go.
Yeah, the boys are back in town.
Shake
Kamara,
and bake, baby.
Zeke, Dalvin Cook, they're all 27.
I don't know why I'm putting just extra juice into players the same age. They're going to be better together.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. They so we know that Kamara's probably going to get suspended. Then he'll be back. There's a couple guys I'm looking at already. Like if you're going to do a 0 RB build, the way that kind of works is you balance upside with safe guys now. So you want these like handcuffs and you want the upside plays, but you also need guys to start week 1. Jamal Williams looking like one of those guys with Alvin Kamara, looking likely to miss time. Also, Samaje Perine, a guy that with Javonte Williams coming back from injury, you
just
could probably
say it, dude. You know you want to.
What? You could change your team name to Samaj My PP.
There you go.
Perhaps. So yeah, you gotta
Perhaps.
40 weeks later, still amused.
Let's just get that out. I mean, it's just a great team name. So those two guys, like if you can wait at RB, pick those two guys, and they're both going to have like the full role to themselves to start the season, and then you fill your bench with all these upside guys and try to catch lightning in a bottle. 0 RB for the first time, maybe ever, starting to look kind of appealing to me. If you can get these guys at an affordable price, what do you boys think?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. He seems like the perfect safety play for that 0 RB strategy, but it doesn't eliminate upside. Like he does have the same kind of backup upside if something happens to Alvin Kamara. I think Jamal Williams can handle a full workload. He won't have the receiving down chops that some of these other backs have, maybe, but he's got similar upside to some of the other handcuff running backs like you've talked about.
And it's setting up in true Jamal Williams fashion. It's setting up for a Clash of the Titans anime style when it gets down to the goal line of Jamal Williams versus Taysom Hill.
Oh dear God!
Dear
God!
Who's gonna pull through that touchdown?
Do you have any idea how pissed I'm gonna be? Because Jamal Williams is probably gonna, depending on his ADP, this seems like a guy I'm gonna draft quite a bit of. I love the position he's in. I don't think he's gonna be drafted too high. And I'm just going to be sitting there with Jamal Williams on 8 of my teams on the 2-yard line, and freaking Taysom Hill
in the corner.
Come in and run it in. Oh, I'm going to be so
still
mad.
Here.
It's going to be like the Godzilla movies where Alvin Kamara is the main character and he's in the city, but then coming out of the water is Taysom Hill, like, and then Jamal Williams comes swooping in, like,
Jamal Williams is just going to scream, "I've got the power of God and anime on my side," and then double foot drop kick Taysom Hill and take the ball into the goal.
Hopefully, while they're doing all that, Alvin can score a couple touchdowns.
Yeah,
hopefully.
But Alvin Kamara just is like, "What are you guys doing?" We got Adam in here saying 7 a.m. I'm digging it. What's up, Adam? Welcome in.
What up, dog?
Adam wants to know thoughts on Miles Sanders. Sanders is like, guess who he's talking about? And it looks like Miles Sanders is going to be a Panther. He signed a deal with the Carolina Panthers, guessing to be the new lead running back over there. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I'm loving it. JL, you in?
I'm not in the sense that this is the best spot for him. I think that this tells me it's probably going to be more of a committee type system here in the backfield of Carolina, but I think it's a solid landing spot. Could have been worse for sure.
I don't know. Because I see they gave him a 4-year deal. I'm wondering if maybe they think that he's the big dog. When he was in Philly, the problem that I had was Jamal Williams, Angel, led the entire league in goal line carries. Jalen Hurts was second. And also, Jalen Hurts didn't like throwing it to the running back. When it was Carson Wentz, Miles Sanders was getting 63 targets. With Jalen Hurts, Hurts was just running it himself when the play broke down, so it wasn't really dumping it down. In this situation, I feel like it could be wheels up for Miles Sanders. I think I'm going to be very much in and very much ready to be disappointed again.
Coop, I'm right there with you. I was in on Miles Sanders when the situation wasn't necessarily improving in Philadelphia, just because, like you brought up yesterday and multiple times before, he's one of the few guys that's running at over 5 yards a carry. When you watch him with the ball, he's freaking electric. Like every time he touches the ball in that Eagles offense, I wonder, why don't they give him 17 to 25 touches a game? Like, why aren't they just loading this guy up? Hopefully that happens in Carolina. And maybe I'm downplaying the role that Chuba Hubbard's going to have in this offense, but I think Miles Sanders is just better in every aspect of the game than Chuba Hubbard. Like, I can't think of something that Chuba Hubbard does better than Miles Sanders. So it really should just be a relieving him situation, not this is a Chuba play.
Yeah. We don't know for sure Deonta Foreman's going to be there or not, right?
That would be that's the nightmare if they do bring Foreman back, which could be an affordable deal. I saw Pro Football Focus was projecting Foreman to get paid like $5 million a year. I don't think so, right? I think that seems high. Rashad Penny got $1.3 million. I just don't see a world where Foreman gets that kind of money. And I see you there. Good morning, NKC. What's up, my dude in the chat?
What up, NKC?
And Adam wants more targets for Sanders.
I think that's the case. I think we're going to lose some of that. We might lose some of that yards per carry because not only are the Eagles a great rushing team with a good line, but the RPO by the nature, that's the run pass option where the quarterback can basically hand it to the running back or keep it themselves. The nature of that creates big chunk plays. So he might lose a little bit in the yards per carry, but I'll trade handoffs for receptions any day. I mean, Austin Eckler's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. Alvin Kamara's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. I've never cared because they get targets. So if I'll trade carries for targets any day of the week.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I forget the actual math, but there's people have done the math on how much more valuable a target is than a carry.
1 point. It's even in standard, it's almost 1.4 times as valuable for a reception. In full PPR, 2.74 times as more valuable a reception than a carry. So, and that makes sense because the catch is worth a point, and also you get more yardage. The yards per reception is always higher than the yards per carry for every player.
Yep. Adam said 1.5. Yeah, right around that range for standard, 1.4, and then almost double that for full PPR.
You better double that.
Absolutely wild. I was trying to find a tweet yesterday about another player move. Coop, this one, a player going to your Patriots. Juju Smith-Schuster officially signed with the New England Patriots in a damn near identical deal to Jacoby Myers' deal with the Raiders. It was, I think, again, like $11 million a year. Jacoby Myers got $11 million a year. But it looks like the Patriots prefer Juju at that price because they were unwilling to give the same contract to Jacoby Myers.
JL, did you see what Jacoby tweeted about that?
I did not.
He sent a tweet that said, "Cold world, LOL."
He retweeted the Juju news, right? And put cold world on top of it.
Cold world.
Cold world. Dang. I did not see that. That's kind of crazy.
The no, what they're saying is that when you break down the Juju contract, Jacoby got 3 years, $33 million with $25 million guaranteed. I thought I saw 21, but Player Profiler is saying 25. Juju's contract is 3 years, $33 million with incentives, only $16 million guaranteed. So I think the cold world from Jacoby is basically saying, hey, we were willing to do the same contract, but it boiled down to guaranteed money. And like that, that amount of money is that important to them that they'll go with somebody totally different. So I see it.
Our good buddy Dave Kluge posted a tweet yesterday, a tweet poll that was right after the Jacoby news. He said, who is a better wide receiver, Jacoby Myers or Juju Smith-Schuster? You guys want to take a guess on what percentage chose Jacoby Myers?
I saw that poll, but not at its completion, and I was shocked by the results whenever I clicked it. So I'm going to say that it stayed on that same result, like 60% Jacoby Myers.
60 is 61%.
Yeah,
Jacoby Myers.
Freaking
really?
insane.
61%. 5,960 votes. That shocked me. I don't think that's the case. I think Juju is a better wide receiver.
I think so too. I think Juju has a higher upside. We're about to find out, about to see Juju and Jacoby's team. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like Juju's the better athlete and better blocker. Does about a lot of things that Jacoby does, except slightly better. But who knows? Sometimes there's more to it than just being bigger and faster. We learned that from Cooper Kupp.
We did learn that from Cooper Kupp. I just feel like Juju Smith-Schuster is the better player. Coop, you've even talked about this with Jacoby Myers. He's not particularly fast. He's not particularly tall. He doesn't run particularly great routes. He does what he does well. He goes out there and he gets it done. He's not elite in any of these categories. Juju Smith-Schuster, I feel like at least has elite route running. He's faster than Jacoby Myers. And we're sitting here looking at it. Maybe the production has been similar, but even if you look at their career-long production, there's no contest. Juju Smith-Schuster has been the more productive wide receiver, even if he's been disappointing for fantasy. I honestly think what this poll comes down to is it's so fantasy biased because Jacoby Myers has overperformed expectations from a fantasy standpoint for a couple years. Juju Smith-Schuster has underperformed fantasy expectations for a couple of years, it feels like. And this might be a poll where people are viewing underperforming from expectation as worse at football.
Yeah, it's possible. Man, remember when Jacoby Myers didn't score a touchdown? We were all rooting for it, like week in, week out. Yeah. Like, come on, Jacoby!
And then he did score that one, and there was like a holding penalty on the other side of the field.
Oh yeah,
and they pulled it back.
We were like, no.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy. They both do. So we'll have to see. And the thing is, I guess we technically won't get like a 1-for-1 comparison. You never do, but it's a different offensive coordinator for Juju this year. So it's like if Juju comes in and has a really good year, we can't really say that he's definitively better than Jacoby Myers because Jacoby Myers had Matt Patricia calling the plays and Juju gets Bill O'Brien. So
Tommy saying Juju can't stick with a team. Well, generally 1-year deals, you have to figure out another one after it ends. But
I don't think that's completely within his control, Tom.
I agree.
Unbiased Tommy talking about his new Raiders wide receiver versus the division rival Chiefs wide receiver with a fully unbiased opinion.
Can't stick with a team as the wide receiver he's defending is on a new team.
Right there.
And they didn't give him the same deal that they gave to the other wide receiver.
It's
Jacoby's fault.
Teams just don't want
all Jacoby's fault.
And it's the first time Jacoby's
couldn't command that deal.
First time Jacoby's ever been a free agent. He was on his rookie deal up until just now. Yeah, there you
Tommy's
go.
a good sport with the Raiders love down in the chat.
Classic, dude. Classic.
We got Craig over here saying good morning. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, Craig.
Morning, Craig.
Good morning, Craig.
Good morning.
Speaking of the Patriots, probably less big name signing we saw come out of yesterday is James Robinson signed to the Patriots, 2 years, worth up to $8 million.
Stop it. This is setting us up just to ruin Ramondre Stevenson.
I don't
Isn't
like
Damian Harris still there?
No, he's not. He's a free agent. But here's
He's
the
a
thing.
free agent? Oh, dang.
2 years, $8 million.
That slipped under my radar.
When they say up to $8 million, I'm hoping that means with a lot of incentives because 2 years, $8 million for running back is not a small contract. And if I hope that Damian Harris gets paid more than that out in the free agent land, because I personally think Damian Harris is a better running back than James Robinson. Personally.
I think that's fair to say.
So and he knows the system. So if it's all things even, you probably keep the guy that knows the system. So I don't know. I hope Damian Harris gets paid somewhere because I'm not sure I love that. It seems a very lateral move to be paying a lot of money for. No, like they couldn't have got Devin Singletary or I don't know anyone.
They could have,
right? To be backup running back to Ramondre. Ramondre looked awesome. Let's just let the man cook.
I'm with you. This Patriots team, I feel like, is not going to be recognizable next year. Not necessarily to last year, but whenever I think Patriots, I'm still thinking this Tom Brady-led teams with Gronk and Julian Edelman. And there's some like leftover pieces from there. But now we're going to be looking at Juju Smith-Schuster as the number one wide receiver. James Robinson's going to be the backup guy in the backfield. It's a weird-looking Patriots team, Coop.
The island of misfit toys.
Bill Belichick just collecting.
Right. And
it really is.
Going against like absolute powerhouses in the Bills and the Dolphins. And based on a little news we got yesterday, also the Jets. So very cool. You want to tell everybody what we heard on the Pat McAfee show yesterday?
Aaron Rodgers says he has every intention to play for the New York Jets next season, is what he said to us yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. And he gave a little FU to Schefter while he was on there as well, saying it.
So good.
And one other person, Diana Rossini, was that the other person that he said texted him? There were two people that he said texted him that he said, lose my number. And oh, there it is. Lose my number. Good try, though. Aaron Rodgers, going to be a New York Jet, it seems like. They just have to agree to terms with the Packers on the trade.
That's an amazing meme. Lose my number.
Yeah.
So good, man. I mean, they brought his guy in, Alan Lazard. Do you think Corey Davis gets released now with the Lazard signing? Yeah,
From my understanding, he was likely to be a cap casualty even without the Lazard signing.
Yeah, they can cut him. He set up. He can be cut only $600,000 in dead cap and $10.5 million in savings. So probably going to hit the market. And honestly, I think he's almost certainly going to get picked up somewhere. He's a very, all things considered, he's a serviceable pass catcher and a very good run blocker, routinely within the top 10 graded out run blocking wide receivers, which when you end up within the top 10 multiple times, it's not a fluke. So what do you guys think some good spots for him to land? There are a few teams that like to run that have some wide receiver spots open, right?
I don't know. Just send him to Atlanta. Keep getting all the big-bodied wide receivers.
Goon squad, dude. Imagine they hand it to Tyler Algier and it's They run an RPO with Ritter or Algier, and then they send 6'6" Kyle Pitts, 6'4" Drake London, 6'3" Corey Davis, 6'3" Jonnu Smith are bearing down on you. On top of all the linemen they have, they brought back a bunch of their own linemen. They signed a huge contract to their guard there, Chris Lindstrom. He got like $100 million contract to come back. So that team is going to be ready to play some smash mouth football.
I'm getting really into the idea of them, like all of the wide receivers, just like, okay, look, we're not breaking the stats on our receiving stats this year. It's all about blocking, baby.
Yeah, dude.
And they're just like each game, they're like, let's pump up our blocking numbers. Like this is our role this year. And like all of them are going to the games like hyped up as hell to be run blockers.
They come out and run the flying V. It's
like the equivalent of like a Fitbit. Like when everyone gets into Fitbit and they're just like walking around their office or they're just in like a circle. It's just they're going to be blocking totally unnecessarily.
Yeah. Albert and you saying good morning, everyone. What's up, Albert?
What up, Albert? Welcome in.
Albert, morning, bro.
Adam said, I feel like Robinson is a better receiver than Harris. I think that's fair. Harris didn't get a ton of receiving work while on the Patriots.
The thing is, we never know for sure because the way they split up the work, one guy doesn't get the pass work. And we saw it with the biggest example was with actually Dion Lewis, where he was the pass catching back and was on pace for 100 targets in that role. And then a couple of years later, they actually moved him into the early down role and he played 16 games and only had like 32 targets. Like they do kind of split it half and half. So I don't even know. Damian Harris could potentially catch. We've just never seen it. You know, Sony Michel left the Patriots and caught the most passes he's ever caught in a season as a backup for another team. So who knows? But yeah, James Robinson probably, we know for a fact James Robinson could catch. So I think you got to give him the nod.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yesterday we got
NKC. Who's better? AJ Brown, Juju, Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen.
So I'm gonna go ahead and cross off Juju and Keenan Allen. Probably this is between Jamar Chase and AJ Brown for me.
Let's go Jamar Chase.
I'll go Jamar Chase.
Got to be Jamar Chase. I don't even think Juju should be anywhere. Even as a Patriots fan, Juju should not be anywhere near that conversation.
He can sniff their farts.
Yeah.
Yesterday, it looked like Darius Slay was no longer going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. He tweeted out his goodbye. We got the reports that he was expected to be cut by the Philadelphia Eagles, a looming release, but apparently he's staying in Philadelphia. He tweeted out, back like I never left. Run it back, baby. So Slay's staying in Philly. So a defense that has taken hit after hit during this offseason retains one of their best defensive pieces.
I had not seen this news. I saw the news yesterday about him being cut. So this is good, definitely good news for the Philadelphia defense. They also got Bradbury earlier in the week. We didn't mention that, but they extended James Bradbury, their star cornerback from this year.
I didn't see it either, but he tweeted at like 11 at night. It looks like JL. So we're kind of off.
Yeah, I was asleep.
Just kidding. He's like, just kidding.
I woke up still thinking Darius Slay wasn't on the Eagles, and then here we are.
Yeah.
So did he sign a deal, or he's just saying he'll be back?
He was under contract already.
Oh, okay.
They were going to.
Oh, he's okay. They were just saying he was going to be cut. I see.
Yeah, they probably worked out some sort of extension where it's like going to ease up his contract a little in the short term, but give him a bunch of guaranteed money long term. Maybe some void years at the end. They usually can figure out some sort of magic. But I will say, like on this defense, they kept a very important part that makes the rest of it easy. Like if you have two very good corners, it funnels people into the middle, right? And then now they just kind of replace as best they can the guys over the middle, TJ Edwards, Javon Hargrave. It could be all right. They did also convince a number of veterans to come back and run it back too. So he says run it back. A bunch of these guys were ready to retire, and looks like they're all going to come back on one-year deals. Jason Kelsey's going to come back. Brandon Graham's going to come back. Fletcher Cox is coming back.
Oh, they want that Super Bowl.
Yeah, they
want that ring, baby.
So they might
That's
be
what
all
this
right.
is.
Yeah. Earn Dog in the chat saying salary cap ain't real.
Facts.
Maybe right, dude. It's a social construct meant to keep us down.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Didn't the Eagles just sign a running back? Am I blanking?
Yeah, they did. They signed Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny. That's right. I was like, I knew they signed someone. Sorry, Penny. Didn't mean to forget about you.
They built that backfield for very cheap. Rashad Penny signed for $1.3 million. I think he's just trying to prove that he can stay healthy for a year, you know. And so Rashad Penny, so they have Rashad Penny on first down. They'll have Kenneth Gainwell to help out on pass downs. Boston Scott to help out on run downs. Don't need much more than that. Got Jalen Hurts as well to run the football. I think they're going to be all right.
And can you imagine having the like prove it style deals in your career field coming with $1.3 million a year? You know what I mean? Like we're talking about, man, they built that backfield for so cheap. Rashad Penny's just trying to prove it that he can stay healthy. He's only getting $1.3 million.
The poor man.
It's funny how quickly it just normalizes though. Like we don't even think about it. We're like, wow, 50 million.
Like what the hell? He only got 30 million a year. That's absurd.
That's
What
so
a joke,
low.
dude. Yeah.
How is he gonna live?
How a penny on cheap money, no pun intended. If he stays healthy, that's a steal. 100%. If he does stay healthy, when he's been healthy, he's looked good. That's the problem. That's why fantasy football managers hate him. It's because we see those flashes. So it's impossible to give up.
It was the ultimate FU. Him popping off this year after all of those years. It was comically late.
They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and then his 4th year he went out and ran for 6.3 yards a carry, which is like college football numbers.
I hate this game so much.
So to put that in perspective, like at 5.7 yards a carry, it's basically like him, J.K. Dobbins, and one other dude from the 50s that have a yards per carry that high. It's like out of control, these guys. So we'll see.
Dustin Key said, so who are they drafting at running back? You guys think the Eagles will go running back? How soon in the draft?
Would make sense, but I don't know if they can go super early. They have a ton of other holes now to fill.
Yeah,
a ton of other holes.
The dream was Bijan at 9, right? Like that's what you're hoping for, or wherever they had that pick. But now we're sitting here thinking, where do they go? Or do they trade up to grab Bijan? But that's not going to happen. I could see them going with like a day 2 running back, grabbing someone in one of those later rounds, maybe one of the like next tier of guys after Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm sure one of Charbonnet or someone like that is going to get pushed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Tommy in the chat goes Smudge Peterson for the name of the guy from the 50s. His name is just as good. So J.K. Dobbins at 5.9 yards per carry. So, which is crazy. And Rashad Penny's at 5.7. There's one guy tied with J.K. Dobbins at 5.9 yards per carry, and that's old Skeet Quinlan. Skeet Quinlan played for the Browns and Rams in the 50s, ran for 5.9 yards a carry.
His name is not Skeet Quinlan.
I swear to God it is.
Quinlan?
I swear to God. I swear to God, Skeet Quinlan. Yeah.
Squeet Quinlan.
Not Squeet.
Squeet Quinlan.
Skeet Quinlan.
King of the Southland.
Dude, oh my God. There's a picture of him too that comes up. There's like one of his cards, and he's got this like grin on his face with like is he like
I'm Squeet.
Old Squeet Quinlan.
I'm Squeet Quinlan.
Get this picture.
You think he was like a spokesperson for old timey candies? Like, have a skeet tooth like me? Try and get away from it.
I sent a pic to Keith. Let's see if we can get it on the screen. He's got that look on his face where you're talking out of the corner of your mouth, trying to sell you some sort of snake oil. Yeah, legend. Old Skeet, dude.
Old
The
Skeet.
secret of my football success? Cream. Buy cream.
I only drink Moxie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In your cereal. Moxie.
So we got Joey right in here. What's up, Joey?
What up,
could
Joe?
Penny be 2021 James Conner for the Eagles? Talented, yet injury-prone back with a new team with a run-first QB. You guys see the parallels Joey's trying to shape up here?
No.
Nope.
He laid them out for you. Talented. Okay, do you think Rashad Penny's talented.
No.
Yeah.
Would you consider him injury prone or a back that has not been able to stay healthy?
Yes.
And is he on a new team?
Yep.
And that team has a run first quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So Rashad Penny could be the 2021 James Conner for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I thought for sure you were going to go full Patrick Starr with Manta Ray on me. Your name is Patrick Starr. Uh-huh. And this is your idea in this wallet. Yep. So this is your wallet. Nope. Never seen it.
Yeah.
Like as I was saying it, I was like, this is literally panel for panel that meme, and I'm just setting Coop up to rip the rug out from him.
I should have rug pulled, yeah, but nah, I mean, he makes a good point. Good point's a good point. The one thing with Rashad Penny is he's never. I know he's been injured, but he's never been caught. He's never caught more than 10 passes in a season. Never caught double digits. So, would like to see him catch some more balls there.
We'll see if he does it. Joey down here said like pulling teeth with these efforts, and we got Dustin in here saying, "Good morning, guys." Good morning, Dustin. And Craig said, "Wait until year 10 with Penny, JL. He will be the Geno of running back."
I hate that. I hate that so much.
He'll have a lot of tread on the tires because he'll still only have like 300 carries by that point.
The crazy thing is we have a recent example of that happening. Cordero Patterson broke out in like year 43 of his NFL career.
Right.
At the running back position.
It's happened.
Keep holding on.
It's not unheard of.
Do not give up.
Don't give up. Now I'm on his Wikipedia page. Apparently it's Skeets with an S at the end. Which is
Skeets Quinlan.
His real name is Volney Ralph Quinlan Jr.
Wow.
So his first name is Volney, which is a name I've never ever seen. But Skeets, dude. Skeets that's such a strong name.
Skeets, short for Volney.
Of course, dude. Naturally.
A massive splash yesterday in the AFC North here. 4-time Pro Bowl tackle and Super Bowl champ Orlando Brown is finalizing a 4-year, $64.92 million front-loaded deal with the Bengals. It includes a $31 million signing bonus. It's the largest ever for O lineman.
It's so much money.
Yeah, that is a big deal. Yeah, it's the signing bonus, right? The 31 million. That's the biggest ever.
Yeah,
that's a lot of dough. This guy, he was on the Ravens. He was like, I'm the left tackle, and they were like, no, Ronnie Staley's the left tackle. So they had to trade him to the Chiefs, and then in free agency this year was reported once again. Teams were like, come play right tackle for us, and he said, no, I play left tackle. And then finally, the Bengals were willing to give him a massive contract to go there. Huge for that team. Where the biggest complaint has been their offensive line. Is that not true?
I was sitting there waiting for him because of the left tackle, right tackle disagreement between teams. I thought the perfect fit would have been the Miami Dolphins, where the right tackle is basically the left tackle position because Tua's throwing left-handed, right? It is like he could play what is essentially the position of left tackle while still filling the right tackle role on a team. So I was sitting there waiting for him to end up in Miami, but this Cincy move, it makes so much sense from a team perspective. And then also it makes their other free agency moves make sense. Like I've been waiting for like the running back to sign there, but they had to get this done before they could even figure out what to do. Because this is big money.
You thought they were just going to trick him?
No, I thought he'd be cool with it.
They were going to give him. Yeah, you thought they were going to pull the Big Brother move, and they were going to play Sonic and be like, "Here, you be Tails." And then
Tails is just flying around behind.
Right? Yeah, I think I think he would have figured that one out. That he was still on the strong side rather than the blind side.
I was not trying to say that I think he wouldn't know. Just that I thought it might be a compromise between team and player if there were not teams willing to give him that left tackle role.
He gets there in camp and the first pass goes over his head and he's like, "What the heck?" It came from the other side. Yeah, that was a big one. There were a couple other big splashes yesterday. Going through, we saw. Not necessarily a splash because he landed back where he was already, but Michael Thomas. That news broke after our show, and he's going to be back on a 1-year, $10 million deal with up to $15 million in incentives to play with Derek Carr. And he retweeted a bunch of stuff talking about how excited he is to play with Derek Carr. How do we feel about that? A little Michael Thomas and Derek Carr. You think he could have a bounce back?
I mean, the stars are aligning for Michael Thomas. This is probably the sequence of events that have happened this offseason are probably the best that could have happened for Michael Thomas, saving his value. If the Saints wanted to move on from him, I think it would have been harder for him to get another contract.
Yeah. But the one thing about it is that people dog him, but after I looked into it, he had the toe injury. He wanted to play. He wanted to play so much that he put off surgery, tried to rehab it without surgery to see if he could come back for the last few games. And then what happened is it turned out that he wasn't going to be able to make it back. So they shut him down and had the surgery, which made him miss the entire season. But he could have just done that surgery from the very, very beginning. He at least tried to get back. So it's not like he doesn't care. And now that he's had the surgery, I know we got to probably check in with some of our injury experts to see, what the recurrence rate is for that. But if everything's good to go, I'm kind of intrigued. Right? Him across from Chris Olave?
There's certain players that I feel like I am unwilling to take the risk on where I think they're going to be drafted. Like my risk tolerance for Michael Thomas, I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in years from him. Could it still be there? Absolutely. But if he's getting drafted as a wide receiver 2, I'm probably not going to be the one taking the risk on him in fantasy. And with a name like Michael Thomas, new quarterback in town, I feel like he's going to be drafted near that wide receiver 2 range.
I don't know. I just look at the game log. He played the first 3 games last year before he hurt his toe, and he got 8 targets, 9 targets, 5 targets. Then he got hurt, and he scored 3 touchdowns over those 3 games. I just sit there and I'm like, what if maybe he still can catch slant passes?
Then he's probably going to be pretty good for fantasy.
Yeah, but again, you're right. We've seen him play like 3 games over 3 years now. So you're right. We haven't seen him since that season was so amazing. The last time he played a full year, that I think a lot of us are hanging on to that a little bit, Simon. So I get it if you're not willing to go there, but I'm still probably going to ruin at least a couple of my fantasy teams by drafting him.
I get it. If Josh Gordon signed with an NFL team today, I would draft him tomorrow.
We're back, dude.
Just like there's some seasons that you watch and you're like, that was magic. I'm not giving up on you. I know it's in there somewhere. I went back and watched the Josh Gordon highlights from that season not more than a week ago. If you haven't done that in the last year, just go do it. You forgot how good he was. I guarantee it. I guarantee you forgot how good at football Josh Gordon was.
Dude, he was so fast. He made my Patriots look so slow that year. He made Devin McCourty look like Vince Wilfork in one of those clips. Like he was just way, way faster and bigger. It is crazy, man. I think he had 200 yards against the Patriots.
I think he had multiple 200-yard games that season. It was absurd. Adam down here saying Zeke to the Bears would be interesting. And Zeke no longer going to be a Cowboy. He is getting cut by the Dallas Cowboys. Reports came out yesterday. I was not expecting to see Zeke released. That came as a surprise to me.
Yeah, that was big news. When we talk about how much Jerry Jones loves Zeke and how this is going to impact Tony Pollard because Zeke's under contract for the next year or 2. I think 2 seasons he was under contract for. This is big news.
How much are they saving by cutting him?
It's not as much as you would think. It's almost like they're eating a ton of dead cap, but like they're just ripping the Band-Aid off now. So they're saving only honestly, I think it's only like 4.8 million is what it would be. But I think they're going to designate him a post June 1 release, which lets them put some of that dead cap on next year. So it's basically they have 11.8 mil in dead cap, 4.8 in savings. But because they can take 6 million of that dead cap and move it to next year, it does free up like almost 11 million for this year. But they always say it like that, where it's like, oh, because it's June 1, they save 11 million. No, they don't save 11 million. It's basically like me saying, oh, I bought a couch. It only cost $500. I got to pay, $1,000 next year for it, but it's only $500. Like that, you're still paying the money
out to me.
Yeah, Jay Allen's sitting there. He's like $500 couch.
The math checks.
Do you have any idea how many payment plans I fell for in college? Like right after college ended, I signed up for everything I bought was like, 24 months interest free, 12 months interest free, 18
0%
months interest free.
APR?
Exactly. And now all of a sudden
What's
I'm like,
APR?
man, look
I
at
don't
all my
care.
money. And then every month my bills are like $84,000 in monthly payments. Took me about 6 months to recover from my first month out of college.
Simon's got like a $900 lamp in his bedroom.
About
$900 lamp you're still making $7 a month payments on. Yeah,
exactly.
That's kind of the plan they're going for with Zeke here. I did look it up, and since Zeke came into the league, he was with the Cowboys for 7 years. No running back in any format scored more total fantasy points than Ezekiel Elliott. So if you had him in your dynasty league, and I don't care, if you look at points per game over that span, he's still like sixth behind Todd Gurley, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler. You know what I mean? Like he's with the stars, and he was healthier than all of them. The craziest part about his health is that the games he did miss was that year that he got suspended. Like he didn't even really get hurt and miss a ton of games at any point. Like this guy was just a rock for that team. And just last year, he went like 10 straight games, scored a touchdown. So I think he's going to land somewhere. I would have loved to see what maybe, if you're going to pay $8 million to James Robinson, you might as well hang around and see what Zeke Elliott's going for. You know what I'm
Maybe
saying?
the Bengals with their new beefed up offensive line trying to make a Super Bowl run, and maybe Zeke wants to get in on some of that Super Bowl action and heads on over to Cincy behind newly signed Orlando Brown. You think they can afford him?
They would probably have to cut Joe Mixon to do that, you think?
Yeah.
Or you talking about?
I'm assuming Joe Mixon isn't like that. Joe Mixon would be a cap casualty because they're saving some serious money by cutting him, right?
Yeah,
and I'm thinking Zeke would be way cheaper than Joe Mixon.
Yeah, they say with Mixon they save 7.2 million with 5.5 million in dead cap. But again, if they make them a post June 1 release, they can save 10 million this year, and that's the kind of team where they're win now. Their window to win the Super Bowl is right now, so they don't care about next year. You obviously just move as much money to the future as you can. So they could save up to 10 million in this season by cutting it.
Tim saying Zeke to the Fins, little thunder and lightning.
How many times could we use that analogy?
And Jeff Wilson will sit there and be like, I thought I was the thunder.
You're the lightning, Jeff. Fast as Jeff.
Then what would Raheem Mostert be?
The double lightning.
Rock.
Double light rock. Double lightning.
Wait, lightning, thunder, rock. Those are the three.
Rock. It's my favorite game.
Lightning, thunder, rock, shoot. One more piece of news I wanted to bring up, guys. Yesterday, my friend Joey Wright texted me how excited he was because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got themselves a new quarterback, former first overall draft pick, savior of the Los Angeles Rams. Baker Mayfield is going to be at least competing for the starting job with Kyle Trask down there in Tampa Bay.
Dang.
Let him bake.
That's pretty interesting.
Let him bake.
Let him bake. I hate that so much.
How you guys feeling about this? Is this an upgrade or downgrade over Tom Brady?
Major upgrade.
I mean,
major
one guy, we'll put it this way. One guy was a 6th round pick and the other guy went 1st overall in the draft.
Yeah. Pretty clear.
Pretty obvious here. Which guy's better? Which guy's better smile? I mean,
we got the Trask truther in the chat, just so you know. Dustin has been saying that Baker's going down there to back up Kyle Trask. And he's repeating it over here. I saw him on Twitter saying it yesterday.
He's going to take him
to
Trask.
We talked about this. I feel like didn't we talk about Baker going to the system earlier last week? There's a possibility of this happening.
Yeah.
And Todd Bowles and how that system is just, I don't have the confidence in that offense that this is going to be a good spot for Baker. I feel like this is very precarious. This is a very precarious signing in my mind.
I think we're going to have a at the end of the season, we may have a compilation of frustrated Mike Evans clips coming. Chris Godwin might be all right. But I don't know if Baker really has the touch and the arm to be throwing the kind of passes Mike Evans needs to thrive.
It seems like Baker's the guy that, like, right before the collapse, they bring him in to try to save it. And he just can't, man. It's too late. Like you put a new captain on a ship that's already half underwater. Like whenever he leaves the Browns, he goes to the Panthers, and it's like that team is falling apart at the seams last season. Okay, of course Baker Mayfield's not going to be successful. And then he even does find success on a Rams team where 85% of their starters are injured, and they've already lost tons of players post Super Bowl due to salary cap issues. And now the post Tom Brady, Todd Bowles led era in Tampa Bay is where they're sending Baker Mayfield. Rough.
I'll tell
I
you.
hope he finds success. He's got the weapons. He's got the weapons there. At least that's part of the offense, right? Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You can't say he doesn't have people to throw the ball to, but we saw Tom Brady have trouble making that system work last year. I'm not convinced Baker Mayfield's going to all of a sudden be the piece that unlocks it.
And I think that given the weapons he has, this is the last time. This is the last chance that he's going to get, because if he can't do it on this team with these weapons, I'm not sure I would give him a shot somewhere else.
So now let's see Rodgers do a switcheroo to go to the Falcons because the NFC South is shaky at best.
Dude, Falcons, it feels like the Falcons made such a loud splash in the beginning of this free agency period, but not the biggest splash.
Yeah,
Just I don't feel like super excited for the Falcons after
Like they
this free
belly
agency period.
flopped. It was impressive. Everybody cheered, but it still hurts to be a Falcon.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's a full belly flop. I don't know if it's as humiliating, but just anticlimactic.
What? Dude, they got Jonnu Smith. They did get Jesse Bates, which
Yes,
that's
a
that's
big splash for sure.
big splash, yeah. But yeah, outside of that, not too crazy. They definitely beefed up the defense. Caden Ellis, pretty good outside linebacker.
So see Omega King in here. What's up, Omega King? Welcome, man. He said we need another 30 for 30 with Jameis.
We do.
That'd be dope. I'm cool with that. Fantasy. It was a great year for fantasy football for him, even with 30 interceptions.
And Tom said Lamar on the way to the Falcons. We'll see.
Hate that.
Tail, where's your brain currently stand on what's going to happen with Lamar Jackson? Because I know for me, it snip snaps back and forth what I think is going to happen almost daily.
I think that he's probably not going to get the offer that he's looking for, given what we've seen so far. I think if we would have seen him take an offer, we probably would have seen it already. The fact that we've waited now makes me think, okay, NFL teams are not as desperate. Doesn't mean that can't change. We still got a lot of offseason left. There are going to be random things that pop up, and some teams are going to leave this free agency feeling a little bit more desperate than they did going into free agency. So I don't think it's the doors closed on Lamar Jackson. I think it's just a wait and see pattern. I think Ravens played this perfectly. Let another team set the market, or Lamar has to play on this contract. So that's where I'm at.
I'm with you. I think he probably plays for the Ravens, and we'll see what happens the year after. Based on what the Ravens have done this year, I don't expect them to sign like a new long-term deal with Lamar Jackson after this season.
If he plays on that tag, I just hope that he stays healthy all year. Like that's what I'm hoping for.
It's not going to look good for the Ravens if he doesn't.
If he doesn't, that would be awful, man.
Yeah, people are going to be mad.
Yeah, because even then, even if you're the Ravens, and I know you got to be ruthless in this industry, but what are you going to do? Turn around and say, "See, he can't stay healthy." It's just not a good look, no matter what happens. So you just got to hope the guy can put together a full season and get paid the money he deserves, because he's awesome. He's an MVP. You can never take that away.
No. Do you think there's a chance he sits? That he just says I'm not playing on the tag?
I've said it on the show before. That's what I would say, because with quarterback, it's a different game. This isn't, and even if you think about Le'Veon Bell in a vacuum, people say, his career ended up being shortened. Running backs don't play much longer than he played anyway, and he got $27 million guaranteed from the Jets. $27 million, all you need in this world, right? I don't even think you need that much. You need enough to buy a couple gas stations, and then you're good. You don't have to work anymore.
You're set for life.
All you need is enough to buy a couple gas stations.
For real though, a couple ground leases. You don't even have to pay the taxes. Everybody pay triple net ground leases. You're good for the rest of your life. So I don't blame Le'Veon Bell for doing what he's doing, and I wouldn't blame Lamar Jackson. Sacrifice $30 million to get what these other guys are getting. Look at these contracts these other dudes are getting. $100 million guaranteed. Deshaun Watson got $200 million guaranteed. Forget $30 million. Give me $100.
Yeah, I mentioned it whenever they franchise tag Lamar, but I think Lamar should hold out. I think he has every right to, and I think it makes the most sense. I think it would be bad logic for him not to. So I'm fully on his side as well.
26. He just turned 26 in January, and look at the money Aaron Rodgers just got at 39. Like he could take 5 years off and still get paid $100 million.
Pay the dude.
Damn.
And that's not
Damn.
to say I blame the Ravens for the way they're handling it. I wish they wouldn't. I wish this league was more player centric instead of team centric, but it's the league we're in, and you can't blame the Ravens for playing the game, right? They have to give themselves the competitive advantage. It sucks that there's a player negatively impacted on the other end of it, but that's the way the league works.
Right. For sure.
And I don't think it's necessarily negatively impacted. It's just now he can go fetch them, go out on the market and fetch that if he wants, right? He's taking a bet on himself, and I think the Ravens are letting him do that.
So Tommy's saying he agrees. He sits all season if no contract, 190%. And Hal saying good morning. Good morning, Hal. Welcome in. Welcome in. Are you guys ready to get into our daily Weddle? See if we can knock that out. Keep our streak going.
Get in there.
Okay. I think I have the first player guess today, if I'm not mistaken. JL went on Tuesday. Coop went on Wednesday. And that means me on Thursday. We are going to start with, let's start with Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is who we're starting with. Okay, the number is correct. So this player is number 6. They are in the NFC.
Oh.
They are not a wide receiver. Their age is much older than 24, so at least 27. And their height is only barely over 6 foot, so 6'1" or 6'2". So my guess would be a quarterback at 6'1" or 6'2". There aren't very many running backs that tall, and there aren't very many tight ends that short. There are some tight ends.
There aren't many.
Most of them are 6'3" or higher.
There also aren't many tight ends that wear single-digit numbers. Kyle Pitts, but he's number 8. So there aren't most tight ends wear either numbers in the 80s or double-digit numbers.
Who's a quarterback that wears 6 in the NFC?
Should know something that we should potentially know.
I don't know what his number is. I don't know what Wentz was.
Stafford's not.
He's
Fields.
too young.
What about Fields? No,
Fields
it's
is too young. I'm trying to think of the older. Kyler is too young. Stafford? What is Stafford's number? Not 6.
He wears 9. He wears 9 or 8.
Gino?
Could be Gino.
I see Hal in the chat saying Gino as well. You want to try Gino? I think.
Put him in there.
Gino.
Okay, not Gino. He's too tall, and his number is 7. A different significant number. But NFC West is correct, and this player is 6'2" or 6'1". 6'2" or 6'1".
So not Kyler.
1. He wears 1. Yeah, he's small and wears 1.
49ers, we got Brock Purdy. Or
what number is? What number is?
They have to be between 27 and 29.
Oh, and then
not,
Rams.
Not
Stafford.
Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy is like 38.
What about Baker?
Oh, because it's not official that he's on the Bucks yet. He's still West. I think he's like 28 or 20.
Sounds good.
I think 6 is his number. Jail, I think you just got it. Oh, no. The height is correct. The age is correct. His number is 17. Oh, and we knew it wasn't a quarterback, and we guessed another QB.
Hey, is that a quarterback?
Oh, I forgot about that one. Use all the information, JL, you dumb.
Oh,
so
maybe
6'1".
Maybe it is a tight end.
Maybe it is a tight end. Who's a shorter tight end that's 27?
Oh no, there's no tight ends that are 6'1".
So a running back.
Kittle? No, we just had Kittle. Kittle was last week.
Is it James Conner? How
Ooh,
big is James
Conner?
He is big.
It is James Conner. Nice pull, Coop.
We almost confused ourselves there. We almost got ourselves into a bit of a pretzel there.
Kept guessing.
We could have gone the wrong way. We could have gone way the wrong way.
Also, we got
the only reason I knew.
The
only reason I knew James Conner was 27 because I said he was 30 the other day, and you guys corrected me on that, so it was fresh in my mind.
We had it. Joey was guessing James Conner in the chat. Omega King with a guess of Jameis, and then Mackingus said, "Nice real estate reference, Coop."
Oh yeah, I did real estate for quite some time, for about 10 years. So commercial real estate, all that. So I got some numbers there if you want to talk a little numbers, Mac boy. Hit me DM me on Twitter. Give me on Twitter. We'll talk a little triple net leases.
We got
Triple
Maria in
net
the chat
leases.
saying morning,
Maria.
One
And my
more.
mom just texted me some breaking news. Jacoby Brissett expected to sign with the Washington Commanders.
Yeehaw.
Was that from yesterday? Did that break yesterday?
Tommy put that in his little poem this morning, but I had not seen that until it was in Tommy's poem.
Dang.
But
Dude,
I like Jacoby Brissett surprised me as a starter for the Browns this year. He was more than just serviceable. I'm not going to sit here and go like he's an above average NFL starter, but the dude can start and be a game manager for a team. He did it for the Browns.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it,
that.
Mac 10 in the chat, I think that's actually my dad. So he knows that I did real estate.
With the Patriots beer stein as the profile.
Yeah, once I saw the beer mug and the Mac 10, I was like, I think that's actually he doesn't pop in that often. Former Boston Furley, yeah, that's him. That's my pops. What's up, brother?
So Dustin saying Sam Howell season. Yeah, this move probably indicates that they're planning to move forward with Sam Howell as the starter. Brissett will likely be the backup, but dude's good enough.
Maybe. Jacoby
Mm-hmm.
Brissett looked pretty good this past year.
I'm with you,
No,
JL.
I was surprised by that. I was surprised by that signing because they seem so confident in Sam Howell. You would think Jacoby would go somewhere where we'd get a little better shot, but maybe he really thinks he's just going to win it out.
See, I read the confidence in Sam Howell as pure posturing, or at least largely them posturing. Like, Sam Howell's our starter. We're confident in him. But what have we seen from Sam Howell?
There's some people that really believe in that dude. Like, there's a contingency that are like, Sam Howell is the truth.
For sure. I just thought the team was saying that to try and maneuver here, because it doesn't really help them to say, "Oh, we want a quarterback."
The moves they made elsewhere, though, like letting Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke leave the team. The quarterback that they signed is Jacoby Brissett, like a career backup at this point, or a stopgap starter. I believe him more now after a little bit of free agency than I did whenever they first said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with Sam Howell is the one thing I won't accept are the people that coming to me saying, "Oh, he's mobile quarterback." It's like, no, he's not. At UNC, he had a bunch of goal line rushing touchdowns because he's a moose, but this guy at the combine ran a 5.07 40. That is 8th percentile, even for quarterbacks. A 5, dude, a 5. Like, offensive tackles are smoking 5. Smoking 5. Their offensive tackles that run like 4.8, 4.9. Like, 5 is not a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, the very loose definition of mobile.
Yeah, dude. Like, he can get out of bed in the morning.
Well, guys, coming up, we've got some more games coming your way. We're going to play some Fantasy Feud. We've got a postmortem on the Atlanta Falcons. We'll get some hypothetically rolling in here, and then we're going to draft the best basketball players of all time with our friend Eric Moody. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on ESPN.
As a longtime baseball fan, here's my message to other baseball fans, to steal a line from the Packers' future Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, RELAX. Everyone needs to relax after what we saw this past weekend at spring training games out in Arizona and down in Florida. Got going, and we're inching closer and closer to Major League Baseball opening day. The rule changes in Major League Baseball is not for myself. It's not for you out there, the hardened baseball fan, whether you're a fan 5, 10, 15, 30, or even 50 years from all around this great country. It's not for those that are going to be locked in. It's for trying to generate more fans. So if they want the pitcher to go out there and work in rhythm with a guy on base, begin the windup within 20 seconds, nobody on base, begin the windup within 15 seconds, or have the batter make sure that he's back in the batter's box within 8 seconds, then making the base pass first, second, and third bigger, eliminating the shift. All of this is to make the game better. We've seen leagues, whether it be the National Football League, do they get to the same league as it is today in 2023, or what we saw in 2022 as it was 30 years ago? No, it's not. Is NBA basketball the same? No. How many games do you see being played, 83-79 finals. You don't see that at all. So every league adjusts to try and bring what? More fans into the sport. And that is something that Major League Baseball is going out there and trying to do. I've been critical at times of Rob Manfred, whether or not as a MLB commissioner, whether he likes the sport based on some of the rhetoric that he has spewed in years gone by. But I got to be honest with you, as a longtime baseball fan, I've been a Yankee fan my entire life. Watched a ton of Met games here in the tri-state area. Watched baseball all around. Can't wait for October baseball. Think it's absolutely unbelievable what is transpiring now and what's happening now and the rule changes being brought about baseball. It's going to bring back to the game to when I became a fan, where the stolen base was something, moving guys over was something, having men on base, batting averages ascending, not being an all or nothing league where either you're striking out or hitting the ball over the fence. And that is what baseball is trying to do. So as everybody tries to adjust, and change is difficult, whether you're changing your diet, exercise routine, changing your relationships, changing a job, change is different. I get that. And it's hard. But let's take a step back. Let's understand what Major League Baseball is trying to do here. And they're trying to repopulate or repopularize the sport. That's what they're trying to do. They're clearly the third most popular sport in the United States. They want to make it less regionalized. This is the way they need to go about doing it. I'm all for it. For more content like this, download the Bettor Sports Network app or go to bettorsports.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network is where we are.
It's in the beans.
You sure about that?
Moody's on ESPN. We're on Bettor Sports Network.
Is Eric Moody coming by later today, right?
Yeah, Eric Moody coming by later today. That was where that little slip came from.
I thought you were doing a bit, dude. Because you do say we work for AutoZone like every other day, or EA Sports, or any number of places. So you could have just you can kind of say whatever you want now.
Beans are us.
Beans are us. Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Man, do you remember the feeling as a child of walking into a Toys R Us though?
Oh
yeah.
Just the oh my God. Like as you look around, you don't even know what section to run to first. I have vague memories of a child television show where they gave kids shopping carts in Toys R Us.
Yes.
I don't remember what it was, but they just got to run down the aisles, sweeping things into their carts. And I still to this day have dreams of being a child in a Toys R Us. That's how much of an impact that store had on me, that at 28 years old, I'm dreaming about that.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Simon. I feel like I had these same exact dreams. Nowadays, I was just thinking, well, what is that for me today? What makes me feel like a Toys R Us? I think it's an Apple store. I think that's the closest thing I could think of. It is too busy. I don't like the crowds, but I just mean in terms of wow, look at all this cool stuff.
What does it for me? What store? I have found maybe two really good fountain pen and stationery stores in my life. And whenever I walk in, I'm just looking they've got my entire dream pen set right behind a glass case that I can just take out, write with. It's beautiful.
I felt that way when I was in Switzerland, because even here, having access to Boston, there aren't like crazy watch shops. But when I was in Lucerne in Switzerland, there was this one row that was just every Swiss watchmaker. So it was just and they're all massive stores. So it was like Rolex, Philippe Patek, Audemars. It was I was like, what the hell? How they're all here, And then I looked at the prices for all of them, and I was like, oh, we gotta go. Time to
Alan,
go.
you're saying hardware store is my new Toys R Us. And Johnny Edward said, morning, guys. Hope everyone is blessed. What's up, Johnny? Welcome in, my friend.
I love that Hal has actually called into this show live on video from inside of a hardware store at 9 a.m. You remember that?
No.
Yeah, he called.
I thought it was a Walmart.
He called in to tell us about killing a pigeon or something. I think it was.
It was a crazy bachelor party story.
Crazy
is what it
bachelor
was.
party story. Yes.
It was like, and there was a dead bird involved or something. You're right. It was a quail. You idiot.
He caught a quail. He caught a quail with like he was like double fisting beers and still caught a quail, dude. Yeah, there it is, a quail. Sorry, Hal. Yeah, I at least I remembered that the gist of it. We've done 100 of these. We've done 120 of these.
Well, guys, joining us right now, and he's also a big fan of that hardware, if you know what I mean. We got our friend and Front Yard fan member Joey Wright joining the show today. If he comes
there,
what's
up,
guys?
How's it going?
Yes,
Rocking your Buccaneers Baker Bros sweatshirt.
Buccaneers are back, baby. By back, I mean winning like 4 games and having a top 10 pick.
The Baconeers.
The Tampa Bay
Buccaneers.
The Tampa Baconeers.
I know he's new to your team, but it's
I'm tweeting
pronounced
that right now.
Baker, not Backer.
Oh,
Should it be the let's settle this right now. Should it be the Baconeers or the Bakerneers?
Or as Tommy said, the Tampa Baker Buccaneers.
I feel for purposes of being on Bettor, it should be the Baconeers because of we're the Hogs.
Yeah.
So bacon and hogs. So it feels like for us, that's the best fit.
I think that's right. The Baconeers.
Even though JL hates bacon.
All right, JL, tweet it. Officialize it.
whoops. I tweeted my own version.
What did you tweet? What did you tweet?
Tampa Baconeers.
Oh, with the R?
Yeah.
You said it first without the R, I felt.
Gets the point across.
I like Baconeers.
And you put the Y in there too? I'm not sure I can accept this version. I liked it, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Baconeers is just his
workshop
new designer line of veneers that he's selling. They look exactly like Baker. You want Baker Mayfield's teeth?
Baconeers.
Get your Baconeers today.
Baconeers.
Well, guys, we're about to get into a game that we call Fantasy Feud. It's a lot like the popular game show Family Feud, but most of the prompts are going to be about the NFL or fantasy, and there's a lot less Steve Harvey involved in this one. How the game's going to work is our host will reveal one of the prompts. It's going to involve a list of players, teams, something you may say like the top 6 teams in available salary cap or something like that. If you think you know the number one answer, say your own name, buzz in, and if you get it right, you're going to choose whether you pass or play. You're going to have up to 3 strikes to get all of the remaining items on that list. If you manage to pull off that feat, you're going to score all those points, 1 point for every item on the list. But if you fail, if you falter, if there's even 1 remaining when you get that 3rd strike, your opponents are going to have an opportunity to steal that from you. We will go like this until we run out of prompts or run out of time, at which point the person with our most points is the Fantasy Feud champion today. You guys ready?
Yeehaw.
Let's do it.
All right. Our first Fantasy Feud prompt. Reminder, say your name when you think you know it. Top 7 things you would see at an American football game.
Joey.
A
football game.
I'm sorry, Joey, that's not on this list.
Good.
You be at a football game, you don't see a football game. Okay.
Simon. Beer
is not on this list.
I'm trying to gauge what kind of things are on this list. That was a different way than Joey.
Coop.
I thought that was your answer.
He might be
Coop.
there.
Show me Coop. How about popcorn?
Popcorn is not on this list.
Okay.
Simon. Can we go again?
Simon.
Referees.
Referee is number 3 on this list, Simon.
Very good.
Would you like to pass or play?
I'm going to play.
Oh, thank God.
All right. You got referee. You're naming top 7 things you would see at a football game.
Okay. This is kind of like I'm seeing here if like concepts or non-actual things could happen. A touchdown.
Touchdown is incorrect. Bonk.
Okay. So we're looking at physical items, maybe. I'm gonna go with what's at every game. I'm gonna go with NFL players.
Players are not on this list. Simon.
What?
That's 2 strikes.
Referees are on the list, but players are not. That is absurd. What about just the general concession stand?
Concession stand is number 6 on this list, Simon.
Ooh, okay. We got 2 of them. I'm going to go with jerseys.
Jerseys is incorrect.
Damn it.
That is 3 strikes. One of your opponents can steal here. Or actually, we go in order, don't we?
Yeah.
Whoopsie. Let me
The
get
order was
Joey.
He's got to determine like a steal order, and then we'll go from
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Joey, and then Simon, then Coop. Or Coop, then Simon. How I had it.
So it goes to Coop next.
there.
And so now it goes to you next, Joey.
Okay, I'll say fans.
Fans are number 2 on this list.
No!
So, Joey, you are going to steal these points.
Is-
3
please-
points.
Please tell me number 1 is a football.
Number 1 is cheerleaders.
Ah, very nice.
I almost
So this-
said that, but not even all teams have cheerleaders
Yeah.
anymore.
That's
I feel
true.
like.
And you got to remember, it's Family Feud rules. So this is most popular answers.
Yeah, this is the 100 pervy uncles that got
Yeah.
questioned here. Said, cheerleaders, yeah.
Who's your favorite part of going to the football game?
Cheerleaders.
Surprised beers weren't on there then.
Yeah, you think. Number 4. Well, you got cheerleaders, fans, referee, and then 4 was mascot.
Okay.
5 was goalpost. 6 concession stand, and 7 was scoreboard.
Okay. That's fair.
Those are all things you would see at a football game.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Also football.
Also a football. Well, Joey,
That's what I thought.
you were going to get 3 points to start this game off. Well done.
Yeah, I'm
really
doing
struggling
good.
to find where the line was on like what people were responding. Like the person who said goalposts but didn't say NFL player. Like,
Yeah, I guess it's just where did your brain go first?
exactly. Like where I'm trying to figure like follow the path to get to goalpost being more popular than NFL player. And I
I'm
couldn't find
thinking the people that were polled in this had only seen The Dark Knight Rises because those are the only things in that scene of the football game because there's no players on the field because the field's gone. But there's a concession stand. There's
There
fans.
is.
There's a scoreboard. So they've only seen The Dark Knight Rises. That's where this poll was done.
Convinced,
they
I
asked
like
us at the
that.
midnight premiere of
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, Darius said fans, which is correct. Tim
Good
said
job, Lord
tailgate.
Darius.
It's a good guess. Good guess. Does said players, flags. Both good guesses. Tim said drunk people.
Fans.
And Albert said benches. Also fans, yeah. All right, well done. Well, prompt here. You guys ready for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, say your name when you think you know it. Top 7 items people often lose.
Coop.
Coop.
Keys.
Keys are number 1 on this
Yeah,
list. Coop,
nicely
would you
done,
like to
Coop.
pass or play?
I have to get all 7 to win.
That is how the game works. Yep.
Or get enough that we can't steal the last one.
Okay. I will pass.
Pass to who? Or I guess you just pass to the next
I
person.
pass the next person, which I believe would be Simon.
Yeah, Simon, it is you.
I'll play. I lose a lot of things, or I used to. Wallet.
Wallet is number 2 on this
That was
list.
Cell
my
phone.
next.
Phone is number 3 on this list.
Sunglasses.
Ooh.
Glasses are number 4 on this list.
Whoa, moving down.
We're working down the list. Now it gets a little bit tricky. What else do you lose? You lose your will to live.
Will to live. No.
Show me will to live.
Writing utensil.
Writing utensil. I will accept pen.
Yeah.
Pen is on the
it's
list
on this list.
specifically.
Well done.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow.
So we've got 1 strike. There are 2 remaining, right?
You have 1 strike. You have guess number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 on this list. So you have 5 and 7 remaining.
Your shoes.
Shoes, incorrect.
Okay, that's fair.
It's 2 strikes, Simon.
Maybe that's just me. And I'm gonna go with
Who loses their shoes?
I lose my shoes all the time.
They're like one place in my house.
Yeah, well, Dale,
By the door.
I have a pair of shoes in your truck in Baltimore.
That's true.
Like I leave
That's
shoes
true.
all over the country. I'm gonna go with your watch.
Watch.
Good one.
Okay, that's 3
No,
strikes.
not on this list. 3 strikes. So Joey, we're moving on to you.
So I don't know my rappers very well, but I believe it was DMX that said, "Y'all gonna make me lose my mind."
Ooh.
Is that DMX?
That is
Oh.
incorrect. I'm sorry, Joey. Coop, you have a chance to steal.
Can you
So, yes,
give
it
me
is
the original category again?
Top
Is it
7 items people often lose.
Items.
Items. My mind's an item.
Because I was
sometimes.
thinking, yeah. Well, the thing is, sometimes they're out of the box answers like that. I was thinking maybe it would be like dog, but
Oh,
yeah. Well, not like that. It's dead. You just like you
Your
lose it. And you
grandma.
got to find it. Yeah.
I opened
Lost
the
my
chat after my
grandma.
answers, and they are freaking killing me, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Things that you lose, and then you gotta find them.
Nick said, "R.I.P. Grandma."
If anybody sees her, let me know.
Yeah.
Jesus, Nick.
no, she died.
Yeah. How
Thanks,
about?
Joey. Thanks.
Oh,
Clearing that up for you.
Thanks for explaining that.
I had my.
All right, Coop.
How about earrings?
Earrings.
Oh, jewelry's a good one. You stinky man. That is so good.
Ah.
No earrings. Number
No, no, no.
5 was remote control.
Oh
my God,
Oh,
yes.
that's great.
Childhood trauma of losing the remote at my house.
Childhood trauma. Trauma from yesterday. Freaking lose my Apple TV remote every 3 seconds.
My daughters like to hide the remotes at bedtime so that we can't turn the TV off. They don't. I mean, we can go up and do it manually, but we're all too effing lazy in this house to actually do that. But yeah, so
It's the
childhood
worst
trauma,
to have
more
to
like
get up
child's
off the
causing
couch.
trauma.
Did anyone
And-
get in the chat?
No one got remote, but they
Mm.
did get socks, which was the last one on this list.
Oh, there's
I
another
don't
one.
lose my socks. They disappear.
There were 7.
Yeah, those pesky dryer
The
goblins.
dryer
just- that's-
goblins.
Yeah. I
Doggy.
guess that's losing them. Tim got socks. Well done, Tim.
Good
Tim
job,
has all
Tim.
of our socks.
Tim got
Tim,
socks.
Tim got socks. Get your socks. Tim got
Tim-
socks. You want
Tim got
socks?
socks. Everybody can have socks.
Socks,
Socks.
Ian. Socks.
Nobody gets points for that?
Did we
How
ever?
does that work?
Socks.
No, you do. You do, Simon, right?
Simon gets like 5, right? 'Cause
You
he
get
I
got
5
all the
points,
points
yeah.
that I earned.
Did we ever
That's
put
right.
that picture up of Skeets Quinlan? When you said socks and we said let's go
Socks.
socks, it reminded me that did we ever put that up? Keith, did you find that picture? I still want to see it.
Skeet
Skeet.
I've not seen it.
Get Skeets. There he is, dude.
Oh,
look
yeah,
at
yeah.
See? He's got that look on his face. He's like, yeah, Skeets Quinlan.
That's Miles Teller. Like that's not.
Yeah.
Miles
Yeah.
Teller's just immortal and has been taking different careers over and over and over again. He's a vampire.
That dude right there. That dude right there ran for 5.9 yards per carry for his whole career.
Damn.
Skeet Quinlan.
Oh,
His
Sweet
career,
Quinlan.
one carry.
Sweet
One
Quinlan.
carry.
A little bit of squeets down your mouth. Dustin said, get a free pair of socks with every purchase down at Lion Gag Honda.
Yeah, that's a promo.
Lion Gag Honda. Oh, man, that's a commercial now.
That's a T-shirt too. I would wear a Line Gag Honda T-shirt.
For sure. With just a picture of Skeets Quinlan on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's the owner of Lion Gag Honda.
yeah.
He looks
Easy.
like every single car dealer owner ever.
The owner
Talking
slash
about-
talent. Yeah, the guy that appears in the commercials as well.
Sir, I
Yeah.
can't go any lower in price, but if you need a lower price, I can get Skeets out here to talk to you.
To come and talk to you out of the corner of his mouth.
Yeah.
I don't
Skeets
want
the
to, but
closer.
I'll run it by old Skeets over there. Skeets Quinlan. All
He
right,
comes
guys.
up, pulls his pants up to like here. Yeah.
Belt around his nips.
No, he wears suspenders. Skeets is a total suspenders guy.
Total
Without a doubt.
suspenders.
Yeah, he snaps him. All right.
All right, our
let's
next
move on.
fantasy feud prompt. Remember, say your name when you think you know it. Here it is. Top 7 reasons a player might get ejected from a football game.
Coop.
Joe.
Coop.
Fight.
Fighting 1 on this list. Coop, would you like to pass or play?
I will play this one.
Play. All right. Remember your name in 7. Top 7 reasons a player might get ejected from a football game.
Might get ejected. How about arguing a call?
Arguing with the referee is number 5 on this list, Coop.
1,
Good
2,
job, Coop.
3, 4, 5. How many? 7?
7.
Oh boy. 1 is fighting. What number was arguing?
5.
I'm trying to write them all down here. Arguing. Okay. How about 2 would be hit.
2 would be what?
Hit to the head, or just like a hit. A legal hit. How about a legal hit?
I will accept that as intentional helmet-to-helmet hit.
Yeah.
So that's intentional helmet-to-helmet hit because you
That's what
mentioned the
I
helmet-helmet
meant.
part. And that is number 4 on this list.
Okay. Helmet to helmet. And this is ejected from the game?
Yep.
Okay. How about two personal fouls?
Multiple personal fouls is number 3 on this list, Coop. You have 1, 3, 4, and 5.
Huh. Okay. How about coach's decision?
Coach's decision.
Okay.
Not on this list.
Bonk.
How about trash talk?
Trash talk, I will accept as unsportsmanlike conduct.
Giving him the business.
Give him the business. That's still the best call by a referee.
It is.
Yeah. What number we got for unsportsmanlike conduct?
And so that's number 2 on this list.
That stinks because unsportsmanlike conduct also encompasses most of the remaining guesses that I had in my mind.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like different versions of that. How about, and we're talking about kicked out of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about, dude, I want to say that that they would still say spitting. Spitting is like such a dirty thing. Put spitting.
Spitting is not on this list. That's
Okay,
2
so
strikes.
that's
Coop.
2 bonks. All right, kicked out of the game. We have fighting, unsportsmanlike conduct, multiple penalties, helmet to helmet, arguing with the referees over a call. How about
Dustin said smoking 6 on the sideline if you are into Jay Cutler. When I first started reading that, I thought it was smoking 6 on the sideline with Jay Cutler. I was like, man, that's what a way to go out.
That keeps you in the game.
how about vulgar celebration?
Vulgar celebration. Can you expand? What is that?
Like a celebration that's like
With your penis.
like kind of like
Ah.
taunting type celebration type thing,
I see.
Wiener gymnastics.
right? Like a Hingle McCringleberry is what I'm
A
going
Hingle
for here.
McCringleberry is incorrect. It's not on this list. I'm sorry, Coop.
It's all right. I got the 5. I got the 5 that would have been reasonable for me to guess. Let's see if you
You
boys
got
can
5.
get the other
Simon,
ones.
you have the opportunity to steal here.
I'm going to go with a failed drug test where the results come in mid-game.
Failed drug test. Not on this list. I'm sorry, Simon. Joey.
I'm gonna get general with my answer. Removing an article of your uniform.
I almost said that.
Removing an article of your uniform.
Oh.
Incorrect. So Coop,
Shout
you're
out
gonna get
Antonio
these
Brown.
Taking off helmet.
points.
Taking off
So-
helmet would have been a good one. Yeah.
See, that's what I was like. I was thinking absolutely Antonio Brown when he took his jersey off in the end zone, but then I was like, but the helmet, I want to be able to encaps,
Yeah,
Put
I think you
that in my
did
answer.
the right way. I'm interested what these last ones are.
Yep.
So number 6, using abusive language. So
Okay.
yeah, using like verbal abuse essentially.
Yeah.
Beyond trash talk.
Beyond trash talk, yes. And then number 7, you guys are gonna kick yourself for this. Targeting.
Yeah.
Going
Which
to
doesn't
target?
have to be helmet to helmet, right?
Yes, targeting is defined as a player leaving their feet with upward or forward thrust and hitting the head and neck area of the neck, which is different than a head-to-head hit.
Yeah.
And that was the big argument about the hit by Derwin James, which it was like people were like, "Oh, did he hit him in the head? Did he hit him?" Blah, blah, blah. And it was like the way that it was already targeting the way he left his feet, right? So it is a different call.
It is a different call.
It is a different call. That is good. Yep.
So,
All right.
Coop, you are going to get 5 points for correctly guessing 5 out of these 7. Well done.
Good job, Coop. I'm proud of you.
Hey, thanks, Joey. I appreciate you.
It's a pretty close game then, isn't it?
It's 5-5 to 3. 5-5 to 3. Joey with 3, Coop and Simon with 5. It's anybody's game.
It's anyone's game.
You guys, did the chat get this one? Chat is
know.
killing me with some of these answers.
Tim said kidnapping a fan.
Thus is it looking at Tom Brady the wrong way or not running the play Tony Romo predicted. He just comes down and ejects you out of there.
So I see we got J-Wall in the chat. What's up, J-Wall?
What up,
Good
J-Wall?
man. Hope you're doing all right.
Hey, Jay Wall.
Jacob
Way too
Wallace.
early for you, Jacob. Go back to bed.
Tim said lighting fireworks under the opposing team's bench. would-
That'll probably do
I
it.
feel
That
like
would
that
probably
that falls under unsportsmanlike conduct.
Do you guys remember the episode of the Simpsons where all the teachers went on strike and they had to have the people from the retirement home come in to teach the classes?
No, I did
And then
not.
one of the old people that was up in front of the class and he's going through all the things that'll get you a paddling.
Oh yes,
There
I
might-
do remember that, dude. That's a
And it
paddle.
was paddling the school canoe. Oh, you better believe that's
Oh,
a
you
paddling.
better believe that's a paddling. That's a paddling.
Would this be a battle? And Tim said
Reminds me of-
bringing baby on field disguised as ball.
definitely a penalty.
You think that's a penalty?
Yeah.
That's
Also-
I'm looking to see if that falls under any of the categories we named.
Never has
Yeah.
a drop pass been so tragic.
Oh God. You hand Jamal Williams a baby. He's just like,
Yeah.
this is a baby.
The special
starts
teams
like-
unit comes on the field. No.
Keep him away. All right. Our next fantasy feud prompt here for you guys. You ready?
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
It's the last one for all the marbles.
Whoa.
Whoa, we got marbles today?
Ooh,
Got
that could have been
marbles.
one for things that people lose.
Yeah, it's true. Top 8 animals people are afraid of.
Joey.
I heard Coop
Gotta
first.
say your name faster, Joe.
Oh, man.
He said Joey.
Coop.
Joey.
Joey.
That came up
Joey.
like child show character introducing himself at
Right.
the end of the theme song. And I'm Joey.
It would have been a tie if I came in and said Andy. I said Coop.
Oh, goodness. You guys are funny.
All right, Coop, what's your guess?
So it's 1 or 2. There's a top 2 in my mind, and I gotta go with spiders.
Spider is number 2 on this list.
Oh.
Coop,
Joey.
which means Joey.
Oh, wait.
So
I guess Joey did call in. I forgot.
is that how it
If he can
works?
name-
The call-in
if he
person
can
goes
name-
second.
If he can name number 1. Yeah, because we're still in the toss-up phase. If he can name number
Okay.
1, it's his.
Snake.
Yeah,
Snake
that's gonna be 1.
is number 1, Joey. Would you like to pass or play?
I want to play.
Play.
Yeah.
All right. You're
Yeah.
naming top 8 animals people are afraid
that's
of.
a
You
lot.
already named snake, and Coop
Okay.
named spider. So you got 1 and 2 off the board.
Bears.
Bear is number 5 on this list.
Okay.
Pretty scary.
Yeah, I'm trying to think rational animals that can come at you. In Florida, alligators, although you shouldn't be afraid of alligators, they're just like logs. But I'm going
Is
to say
that your guess?
alligators. Yeah.
Alligator. Not on
They
this
eat-
list.
They eat babies here in Florida. Okay.
We don't have them here.
See, that's the thing. It's regional for us, but
Region.
no Floridians are actually afraid of them. So, let's go with lions.
Lion is number 6 on this list.
That's so dumb.
It is dumb. So I've got 3. I'm gonna say tigers because I've already said lions and bears.
I'm sorry. Say that again, Joey.
Tigers.
Tiger is not on this list.
Oh my. So
I'd say they're equally scary to bears and lions.
so we've got the snakes. Those are creepy. We got spiders. Does that probably includes bugs? All bugs. What about dog people? Some people are afraid of dogs.
Dog.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's we 3.
It's number 4.
Is it really? It shouldn't be. Dogs are amazing.
There's
I
some
was
scary
terrified
dogs.
of dogs as a child. There's
scary
there's
dogs.
video
How many have I
footage of me
got?
like climbing straight up a telephone pole running from a toy poodle.
How many bonks am I at?
Maybe not that dog.
You're at 1 bonk.
I'm at 1 bonk. I'm gonna go with possums.
Possum.
Have you seen their teeth? They're crazy.
I have. Is incorrect. I'm sorry, Joey. Bonk.
Sharks.
That's 2 strikes, Joey.
You guess.
I'm gonna go with shark.
Shark is number 3 on this list.
Okay.
Staying alive. You now have 1 through 6, Joey. You need to name 7 and 8 to get these
Okay.
points.
7 and 8 animals that you're afraid of.
Possum? Are you kidding?
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna let you just put shark over that like a band-aid.
Here's the thing. I love raccoons.
Exactly what he tried to do too. he tried to immediately say
Yeah.
shark.
Yeah, good try, dude. Yeah.
I didn't want there being dead air, and possum was the only animal in my head.
Oh, there wasn't gonna be dead air if I had a minute to possum.
Man, 7 and 8 are going to be tough ones. So I love raccoons. I'm trying to think of things that are at night. Birds.
Oh.
Birds are
Is that your guess?
Yeah, birds.
Birds. Incorrect.
There's a whole movie about the birds that attack
It's
you. I
true.
don't know what the movie's called though.
starting
We're
more
so
roast.
close. Am I up or is Joey up? I'm up,
Coop,
right?
you're up.
Coop, you are up.
I think you just brought me right to it. You said things that are at night, and then you said birds, which brought me right to night birds, which we've discussed on this show before. Is bats on the list?
Ooh,
Bats. No bats.
Ah,
Give you the old bonk. Simon.
working
what you
on
do
my
best.
night
There's
There's,
the
bird.
there's a
best.
couple. There's a couple different routes I can go this way, and this is for the win.
This is for the win. If you get this, you win. If you don't, Joey wins.
Pick something that's personally scary to you.
That's what I'm going between right now. Is
Poodle.
not anymore. That was holding me. I'm between one that's very gross and one that's very big, because I think gross people are scared of, and I'm going to go with the gross one. I'm going to say rats.
Oh, that's a good
Good
one.
one, dude.
Rat.
Bwah, bwah, bwah.
Horse is going to be my other guess. I'm
Yeah.
deciding between those two.
Horses are terrifying.
Horses are pretty scary.
Rats, you're vile and disgusting. Come on down to Baltimore. Your family's waiting.
God, I hate that. I'm pretty sure there's some rats living underneath my AC unit right now.
Keeping cool.
Well, isn't a possum kind of like a rat?
Oh, get him out. Kick him off the show, please.
Yes,
Also,
I-
I just recently learned that opossum and possum were 2 different animals and not just misspelling the name of the other animal.
Is that
Wait,
true?
what?
Look it up. One's from like Australia and one's from North America. They're different animals.
I just thought people were idiots.
Me
And number 8
too.
Turns out I'm the idiot.
Number 8 on the list is actually opossum.
Number
we, didn't
two,
give
number
it,
8.
we didn't give it to Joey.
That would be great.
What
Oh,
is
the
the break,
opossum,
Joe?
opossums don't look scary at all. They look really nice.
Are those
Opossum.
bush babies then? Or is that what
Oh,
a
number-
possum is?
Did you ask me for number 8?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Number 8 was cockroach,
Fine.
which is also kind of
So-
funny because they're not dangerous or even that dirty at all.
But
Simon,
my-
what was the other scary animal, the not gross one that you were
I
thinking
was
of?
gonna say horse. The
Horses
horse.
are scary.
Just-
They are
they're
pretty
big.
Eyes.
They're big. They're so big.
You know what horse is scary? You guys ever flown into the Denver airport?
That bronc-
Lucifer?
Dude, that thing is terrifying. Why? Why do they have that?
It's got a big old wiener too.
sure,
It does.
sure do. It's blue.
And-
It's blue.
True fact. It killed
kids
somebody when
watch?
it was being put together. It
Yep.
impaled, like that statue is a murderer. And they have this giant demonic looking blue horse out front of their airport that killed someone.
What?
The guy that designed it, it fell over on him. Yeah,
That's crazy.
pretty scary, dude.
Is he still there?
Pretty scary.
A section of the
The guy or the
900-pound
horse?
sculpture fell off
Yeah, I
on him
think
and severed an artery in his leg.
I think it was
I
in
feel-
his studio.
I feel like when you land at the Denver airport, somehow that story makes it into like your Google search history, and like you
Automatic.
read it when you're landing. Because I found out about it like when I landed in Colorado this summer.
Cursed. It's cursed.
Cursed.
Because you see the horse and you're like, what the hell is that thing?
And it's
Just start-
blue. Like
Yeah.
Crazy
Bizarre.
cursed.
Well, guys, we've got some more games coming up. We are going to talk post-mortem on the Atlanta Falcons, their season in review, play some hypothetically, and then our friend Eric Moody from ESPN is joining us for a best basketball players of all time draft. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Talk about your picks and your fantasy teams on Bettor Sports Network.
The importance of checking out the site that you're playing on. Default rankings of these sites. A lot of times they don't get updated. I know from experience. I used to write default rankings for the NFBKC, the basketball version of the NFBC. I'd write these default rankings in June for the NBA, before the NBA draft, before free agency opened up. And guess what? I was never asked to write an update article or update the default rankings. This happens a lot. Maybe if there's something obvious, it gets updated. Aaron Judge, for some reason, hurts his back. Maybe they make that change. Just maybe. But you don't know that. And that's why it's just so important that you show up to your draft room or you do that pre-draft prep. We're all busy. We know we're about to devote a lot of time to our fantasy baseball drafts. Why not spend the extra 20 to 25 minutes to invest properly in your team, to go and see which of those players are way down default rankings? They're going to be different on all of these sites, and you're going to be looking at them and going, maybe their analysts think a certain player who shouldn't be in the top 100, who should be maybe even not even the top 200, will be in that top 100. You got to check that out. You got to know where you're playing, just like you got to know your format when you sign up for the league. It's just so crucial, and people just skip right over it. You think it's cool to show up to the draft room 3 minutes before the draft. Well, number one, it's not cool because the commissioner's trying to make sure it is organized, especially me, who runs auctions. You can't, it's one thing if someone doesn't show up for the snake draft, oh well, doesn't ruin it for everyone. Auctions, you can't have someone not show up. Auto bidding, auto auctioning, it ruins the sanctity of those drafts here, which is why I always recommend, hey, make it easy on your commissioner. Don't make them send those texts there. It's annoying. You shouldn't have to do that. Don't wait till the last minute and get in there about 20, 25 minutes before so you can just look up and down the entire default rankings list so you can make a queue out of that, Ron. And the reason I keep saying this is because people still show up 2-3 minutes before the draft, and that's it. In fact, in one of my auctions, people were asking me where certain players were, and I go, did you search their name? No, I just got in. Well, that's no excuse right there. That's your own fault. I mean, you're organized, so you're a hard person to ask here.
You're getting those questions. This is your preschool league, right? People don't know how to search player names.
People freak out. They don't think. That's the problem. Because they show up 2 minutes before the draft. That's why.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. We're about to get into a postmortem on the Atlanta Falcons season, a look back at what happened before we take a look forward further on down this off season. Before we get into that, though, if you guys are enjoying what we're doing here, I got great news for you. We got 2 more shows today over on our channel at Front Yard Fantasy, so make sure you head over there and hit that sub button if you haven't done so already. We've got Heath Cummings, who we are going to be on the Front Yard Fantasy Hour over on the FanDuel YouTube channel. You can find the link to that video right on our YouTube channel as well. Head on over there. And then right after that, we are going to do fantasy football pub trivia. Myself and the Wright brothers, Joey Wright and Tim Wright, are back with what we were doing last offseason. It's 3 rounds of trivia, but you guys are the contestants. You're going to be competing against each other and against Joey and Tim live on air. So come hang out with us for pub trivia tonight. We've got FanDuel from 5 to 6 and then pub trivia from 6 to 7 right in between those NCAA games right there. So you'll be able to take a break from the action, come on back in and play some trivia, then get back to the basketball. So we got Hal in the chat saying, first time I rode a horse was in the dark, bareback with 10 other horses running wild.
All right, what did he say?
First time I rode a horse was in the dark, bareback with 10 other horses running wild.
Jeez, that sounds like a music video for a chair song.
Sounds like Breath of the Wild style. Like he was just playing Zelda, but in real life, running up to a horse, trying to tame it in the dark.
And in our minds, it sounds like just a crazy romantic situation, but that probably hurt, right? Does it not hurt to ride a horse bareback? I've never ridden a horse. It's on my bucket list. Have you guys been on a horse? Jail, you been on a horse before?
I've ridden a horse before, but I never will again.
Ooh, you're out.
I went to horse and art camp when I was 10.
Of course you did.
That sounds like a wild choice for a kid afraid of horses.
Well, here's what happened. We ran into my mom's old friend at the Dairy Queen, and she's an artist who has a horse barn and was running a horse and art camp and had one seat left. And my mom was like, oh, he would love to go to horse and art camp.
You were like,
and I was terrified the whole time. But most recently, rode horses on the beach in Puerto Escondido. My girlfriend wanted to make my mom's dream a reality of riding horses on the beach, and all the tour companies were like 2-hour bus ride where you went out because it wasn't really like there wasn't a company set up there. So instead, she found 2 guys on Facebook who had 5 horses, and they just met us on the beach with their horses. We handed them cash, and then they said, "Go ahead." Like no instruction, just gave us 5 horses on the beach. It's a beach full of people, and it was top 5 scariest experiences of my life because like I'm just walking and the guy runs up behind me. He's like, no, run, and starts like smacking the horse on the butt. And all of a sudden I'm like sprinting down the beach on this horse with my mom, my girlfriend, my sister, her boyfriend, and we're all terrified except for my mom.
all of you on one horse?
We're all on 5 different horses. And my mom's sitting there like we're all freaking out, and she's got like her hands in the air and she's just like in heaven. She's like, this is everything. As there's like mad chaos. My sister's horse is wrapped up in some child's kite 100 yards away. I'm 500 yards behind, like not able to catch up because my horse started
screaming.
It was Leanne's getting attacked by the beach dogs who are not a fan of the horse coming by. It was an experience.
Oh my God.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds like an insane story that I completely forgot about.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're talking a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons today. Their season last year, Marcus Mariota was the starting quarterback for most of the season until rookie quarterback Desmond Ridder took over. There weren't necessarily a ton of high expectations for this Falcons team, but some high expectations for some fantasy relevant pieces in this offense. Let's start with probably the piece that most people were excited for going into the season, and that's tight end Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts had a decent year, only played in 10 games, 356 yards. I know people were disappointed from what we got from him whenever he did start playing, but we saw flashes of why we were excited about him. He had 1,000 yards already in a previous season. Coop, you're the tight end guy. Are we going to see the type of season that we were expecting from Kyle Pitts going into next year? What's the explanation for what went down this year?
I think that we're in the perfect position, assuming they get the quarterback situation figured out. The thing with tight end, we talk about it all the time, that you want to use the sort method. Start, opportunity, roster talent. You're always going to want to have Kyle Pitts on your dynasty team because we know he's supremely talented. He came out, had a 1,000-yard season at 21 years old, which is incredibly rare. Only Mike Ditka is like the only other guy to do that. And if you look around the league, guys like Darren Waller didn't have a 1,000-yard season until he was 27. Travis Kelce didn't have a 1,000-yard season until he was 27. Zach Ertz did until he was 28. This guy did it already at 21. They're going to have him play wide receiver. They just need a quarterback. So this year, I'm in because he's one of the few guys that actually plays wide receiver. But at some point, I expect this guy to be the number one tight end in the league for fantasy football when he's paired with the right quarterback. And the Jonnu Smith move is a good thing for Kyle Pitts. We don't want Kyle Pitts lining up in line with his hand in the dirt. Let Jonnu Smith do that. Well, I want Jonnu Smith in line, Kyle Pitts in the slot or out wide, Drake London on the other side. Maybe they add one more field stretcher like a Nelson Aguilar or a Robbie Anderson or whoever. Mecole Hardman, doesn't matter. And then you've got an offense and you're ready to rock and roll. So Kyle Pitts, I am fully on board with.
Yeah, he seems like the type of player that the risk is so low and the upside is so high. I just don't think that there's many players that really fall into that category like we see with Kyle Pitts, especially from just dynasty's perspective, long-term perspective. I have no concerns for him.
I'm with you guys. It sucks to watch a player that you have such high expectations for come out and have a season like this, barred with injury, underperforming on a bad team, but don't give up hope on Kyle Pitts. He's still the Kyle Pitts that everybody was in love with. We're still seeing flashes of it out on the field, even in the bad system.
Even with Jonnu there.
Yeah. Imagine they just bench Kyle Pitts for Jonnu. That would be such a
it's going to happen.
Stupid NFL thing. But that's not how it's going down. That can't be. It can't be.
Nah. Now, they have another big-bodied receiving option there. Rookie wide receiver Drake London played in all 17 games, 866 receiving yards, 117 targets, pulled in 4 touchdowns last year. Pretty good for a rookie wide receiver. Didn't quite hit 1,000 yards, but the Atlanta Falcons as a whole barely hit 1,000 yards passing. So 866 yards in that offense is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, he was so hyped. It felt like halfway through the season when he was just having just a few good games. The hype train on Drake London took off. Right. He falls in that category of these top rookie wide receivers from this past season. The Chris Olaves, Garrett Wilson's. I put him in that realm of talent.
Yeah, and you look at people talk about the Bears, how historically low their pass attempts were. And they forget that the Falcons were right there. The Falcons were not throwing the ball much, to the point where 117 targets for Drake London was 30% of the passes that team threw, 29.4%. So when people talk about target share, for those unfamiliar, it's you take all the passes the team threw and your target share is the percentage of the passes that you got. Some teams throw 700 times. So 117 targets is only an impossible mathematical number to figure out, but it's like 15%, right? Something like that. On this team, 117 targets is 30%. So Drake London, of all the wide receivers, actually had a top 5 target share in the league. He was top 5 in the league in the percentage of his team's targets that he got. And what that tells me is if they throw the ball a little more this year, which they almost have to, that means he's going to get a boatload of targets. So I'm in on Drake London. The fact that you look at a guy like Alex Korf peaked in high school's trade chart, we had him on yesterday. Drake London is a lot lower than Olave and Garrett Wilson, and I don't see why. Now is the time to swoop in and grab Drake London in Dynasty. I'm in.
Drake London was my number 1 wide receiver coming into this past season, and I'm not getting crazy. But he's in the same tier with Garrett Wilson, right? Garrett Wilson is probably my 1 right now. I was undervaluing him, I think, but that doesn't move him necessarily above Drake London. I'm just viewing them in the same tier now. I saw enough from Drake London last year for him to keep that position as my favorite wide receiver out of that class, at least up there with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Is Olave in that mix with you, Simon?
I think he has to be. I do prefer Drake London and Garrett Wilson over Chris Olave, but it's ever so close.
Yeah. So Garrett Wilson, just so to put it in perspective, Garrett Wilson got 147 targets. Drake London only got 117. But the Jets, especially as JL pointed out yesterday, Joe Flacco was throwing the ball like crazy to start the year.
Like 85 times a game.
Yeah. So Garrett Wilson's target share was only 25%. It was 24.9. So his was only 25%. Drake London got a bigger percentage of his team's targets than Garrett Wilson did. Garrett Wilson was ranked 21st for target share. He wasn't even
just added Allen Lazard.
They just added Allen Lazard. So, I mean, like Garrett Wilson, of course, he's going to play with Aaron Rodgers. In the short term, I expect Garrett Wilson to be better. But over the course of these guys' careers, don't be surprised if it does flip. We've seen it a million times where the biggest example I always point out is 2010. Mike Williams from the Buccaneers came out and he was the best rookie wide receiver, scored like 10 touchdowns. And anybody playing Dynasty at the time, we turned around and said, oh yeah, this Mike Williams guy on the Bucs, he's the guy, he's the best one. And meanwhile, he was in a class of Des Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Eric Decker, Golden Tate, like Antonio Brown. And it turned out that there were 10 guys that had better overall careers than that one guy. So I try not to overdo things based on one rookie year. I still have Drake London as my wide receiver 1 from this class. I think he's going to have the best overall career.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Like I'm excited.
Let's do it. Big boy.
Let's do it.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom. Vladarius down here, who's a Falcons fan, says the Falcons offense wasn't pass heavy by any stretch last season. My expectation is that we see Ritter throw a bit more as the Falcons open up the offense a bit more. Yes, please. Yes, please. Now, the beneficiary of them running the ball so much is probably rookie running back Tyler Algier, 210 attempts, 1,035 yards on the ground. I think the quietest 1,000-yard rushing season out of any running back in the league.
So quiet.
Averaged almost
freaking whisper,
right? 4.9 yards a carry, over 1,000 yards. Like, that's a damn good year for a running back on the ground. And it felt like I didn't realize it until the season was over that he put that together.
Right.
Now, I feel like this is the same conversation we have about Dameon Pierce. Are you guys comfortable with his role in this offense, or are you fearful of some of that work being taken away because of the lack of draft capital?
I think the draft capital is a massive part of the equation, specifically for running backs. So I am worried. I'm not going to be placing a lot of my leverage into Tyler Algier until we have more evidence to support that he can retain that value for the long haul.
The thing that scares me is that there are just so many good free agent running backs and running backs in this draft that any team could draft these guys. And if the Raiders are going to sign Jacoby Myers when they already have Hunter Renfrow, and the Lions are going to sign David Montgomery when they already have DeAndre Swift, we really can't rule any team out from drafting anybody, honestly. So this team could easily go out, and if Jahmyr Gibbs is sitting there, they draft him, and everyone's comping him to Alvin Kamara, and now all of a sudden Tyler Algier is an early down back, and Gibbs is the pass down back. He's less appealing. I will say this, that Cordarrelle Patterson's contract is set up in a way that Cordarrelle Patterson's not going anywhere for this season. If I were the Falcons, I would ride one more year with what you have, Caleb Huntley and whoever, I think they have a guy they converted from defensive back to running back. I forget his name.
Damian Williams still there?
No, he's a free agent right now. But I mean, they could easily bring guys like that back in. I would just ride one more year, see how long you can go without bringing in another running back, because it's such a short shelf life position. Once you have got all the pieces in place and now you're ready to compete, then you bring in the luxury pick of running back. So if I'm the Texans and Falcons, I go one more year at least without bringing somebody in. But GMs and coaches don't always think that way. We know that. So you can't bank on it in fantasy. I'm just saying what I would do,
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And with Tyler Algier, if they don't add another like big name running back through the draft or through free agency, I'll draft Tyler Algier as a RB2 next season. That's probably about where he lands. If they do, it's probably going to be hands off for me. Coop, that situation you laid out, as soon as you said they draft Jahmyr Gibbs, I could see them drafting a Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I don't think it's necessarily the right move. And then, but like, I'm not drafting Tyler Algier if they took the second running back. They're going to have to use like a second round pick, probably maybe a third round pick to grab him. Man, yeah, it'd be tough to trust Tyler Algier with a rookie coming in.
And that line's pretty good. They brought back Caleb McGarry. They brought back Chris Lindstrom. And they have all these big blockers, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and they brought back the fullback, Keith Smith. So, I mean, that run game could be pretty good once again.
Also, I'm looking at the Falcons roster from last year. When the hell did Felipe Franks convert to tight end and play for the Falcons?
I remember that. Yeah, the quarterback. They converted him to tight end. He never made it out there, I don't think. But
he had one rushing attempt, I'm saying, on the season. No targets, no receptions, but he rushed the ball one time.
Could be the next Logan Thomas in 5 years.
One rush for 0 yards. Pretty good
Slow
season.
conversion.
Pretty good.
Nice job, Felipe.
Got out there. That's what matters.
Adam in here had a question for you, Coop. I know we're talking Falcons, but he's got a little Pats question. Who do you think the Pats taking in the first round if they don't trade down?
That's interesting. My first instinct is always that they're going to trade down and then take like a bunch of safeties from Rutgers or whatever. But I could actually, I don't know. People were saying Jackson Smith and Jigba, but now they brought in Juju, so that's off the table. I could see them going out and grabbing either a safety for because Devin McCourty retired, or potentially drafting just the best offensive tackle available because they were in the mix for Orlando Brown, but then Orlando Brown got the biggest signing bonus that anybody's ever gotten as an offensive lineman. So I think that I could see safety or offensive tackle if they hold on to the pick, but they are always a threat to trade back.
Yeah, I was trying to look for any prospects from like really weird schools that are near the top, but I'm looking in the wrong area. I feel like whenever Bill pulls out a prospect from a weird school, it's like projected 7th round pick, and he's like 1st round.
UT Chattanooga.
That's my guy.
But the thing is, those Cole Strange, it looks good from UT Chattanooga. Kyle Duggar, who they drafted from Lenoir-Rhine, was awesome.
Your dad's favorite school.
That's right, dude. He looked awesome last year, dude. So, well, let's go. I'm cool with it. Do whatever. Do what you got to do.
To make it happen. Do what you got to do. Well, guys, we're gonna have sorry, my brain blinked there for a second. Well, guys,
we gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. No, we talked a little bit of Falcons today, but tomorrow we are going to have our friend Dio Ledbetter on to give us a little bit more of a look behind the scenes, what happened, and maybe some questions about what the Falcons are going to do moving forward. So this was a little appetizer for what we got coming tomorrow. We broke down some of the fantasy implications. We'll get the behind the scenes stuff tomorrow. And everybody, I know everyone here after this show is over, you're going to go take your morning shower, your morning poop, maybe make some lunch, but then everyone's sitting on the couch watching March Madness all day. You should enter our bracket contest. You can find the link in our Discord, and we will put it over here in the YouTube chat as well. You can win FYF merch if you take it down, or one of JL's vegan recipe books, or as Joey said, a date with myself. But most importantly, the Front Yard Fantasy merch. So join our bracket challenge. See if you can take us down. See if you can take our moms down. They ran it last season.
It's true.
And compete against us. But right now, guys, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse on Bettor Sports Network.
Do you believe in the Madden curse? Do you think that's a real thing?
I did. Now, I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, but it was a real thing for a solid 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Peyton Hillis.
LT was never on the cover. I know that.
Was he not? I thought he was one. Okay, well, you do know all the covers of everything.
Yeah, okay. So if you want, I could do this real quick. So Garrison Hurst is the first official Madden cover athlete, 1999. 2000, I believe they still put John Madden on the cover. And then 2001 is where it all started. So 2001, you have Eddie George. 2002, Dante Culpepper. 2003, Marshall Falk. 04, Michael Vick. 05, Ray Lewis, first defensive player on the cover.
Okay.
06, Donovan McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
08, Vince Young. 09, Brett Favre.
Okay.
10 is a trick one because it's
no way you know.
And Larry Fitzgerald. 11, Drew Brees. 12, Peyton Hillis. 13, Calvin Johnson, I believe so.
You're right.
14.
No way you know all this.
14, also a trick question. I believe that's the Madden 25 cover, and it's Barry Sanders, unless you got it for the new consoles, in which case Adrian Peterson
oh my God.
was on the cover.
You're not cheating. You're not looking at.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Okay, keep on going.
15, you have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
16, hold on. 16 is Odell Beckham.
Okay.
16. 17, now this is the one I get mixed up because 17 and 18 are back-to-back Patriots.
They are.
17, I think, is Gronk, and 18 is Brady.
You are correct.
19 is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
20, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my goodness.
21, Lamar Jackson. 22, Brady Mahomes. 23, John Madden. Yeah, dude, I'm a cover nerd when it comes to this stuff.
We now know, but that was really impressive. I don't know how.
Thank you.
That's literally 29 of them or something like that. Wow, that is. You did not miss a single one, and you even got the special editions where they had 2 people on the covers.
Monday Night Rants on Bettor Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. It's in the game.
Auto beams.
There it is.
Oh, I thought you were about to drop an AutoZone sound on the soundboard, Jail, and I got so excited. Just unbelievably excited.
Need it.
Well, guys,
Sorry.
we've mentioned it a couple times. March Madness starts today. We've got our bracket contest, and right here on Bettor Sports Network, you can join the Bettor Cast tonight at 6:50 Eastern Time for that first round action and compete in real-time Q&A for prizes on the BSN app. So tonight, 6:50, $100 gift card to bettorsports.com collectible shop to purchase anything you want from the hand side items available in there. Who doesn't love some trivia? So hang out with us for some pub trivia over on Front Yard Fantasy, then come in here for the Bettor Cast for some Bettor Cast trivia right after that live in-game action.
Oh, hell yeah. Also,
yeah.
I'm getting in on that. I'm probably going to win, even though I don't really know too much about it. I'll tell you guys right now. I'm taking Providence to the Elite Eight. They're going to the Elite Eight. So if you don't have that in your bracket, I'm not even sure it's worth playing.
I'm going to give away one of my sleeper picks right here. Probably my boldest one. I got Furman, the 13 seed to the Sweet 16. They're beating Virginia today, number 4.
Firm that up. And obviously everyone
was making it to the Sweet 16.
Everyone gets the free square of Duke losing in the first round to Oral Roberts or whoever they're playing. So,
dude,
that's always an easy shout out, Jay, in the chat. On some other news, sad news that we got to hit on real quick because it is big news. Unfortunately, one of the top closers in the MLB, Edwin Diaz, looks like he might have seriously hurt his knee celebrating the win for Puerto Rico. So those guys have so much fun out there. After he threw the final pitch of the game, they all met at the mound. They were kind of jumping around a little bit. He may have hurt his knee. Very emotional moment for everybody. We don't have any update on that yet, any news, but just want to say, let everybody know that that's how that went down, and we're wishing the best for him, right, boys? Nobody likes to see that.
No, you hate to see that, and then it sucks a lot whenever it's in these kind of like these games that the players enjoy playing, right? Like these World Classic games. It probably discourages players from participating in some of these. We've seen it with NBA players in the Olympics and other things like that. Hope for a speedy recovery for him and that it's nothing major. Like, God, that's awful.
I know. And I hope everybody takes, like, if you watch the clip, these guys, it's not like they were doing anything crazy or anything either. They're just kind of hopping around a little bit. It could have happened at any moment. It could have happened with him getting out of the shower. And we've seen that a million times. I've seen Nate Burleson break his arm, stopping his car short trying to protect a pizza. Okay, so like, don't blame the World Baseball Classic. The World Baseball Classic has been awesome. So I haven't really seen many people doing that, thank goodness. So let's just hope that it's not that bad and that he's good to go. And if it is bad, we wish him a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're about to get into a game of hypothetically here. I see Jay in the chat. I didn't even see this comment. We're throwing shade at Duke as he came in trying to throw shade at UNC. Does anybody know what time UNC plays? Well, you'll be joining them shortly, Jay. Against Oral Roberts.
I have Oral Roberts going to the third round.
What a great story.
They did it a couple years ago as a 15 seed, right? Oral Roberts was the 15 seed to make a little money wrong.
The moment I'm right.
We all laugh. But Oral comes for you.
We'll all still probably laugh.
Wait, fun fact we were talking about Oral Roberts and his real name the other day, and I brought it up to Joey Wright, who was just on the show with us. Joey has spoken on the phone with Granville Oral Roberts himself. Apparently, his grandfather.
Orville Redenbacher?
I almost said Orville Redenbacher. I did.
Orville Redenbacher himself.
His friend or his dad was like friends, or his grandfather was friends with Oral Roberts, and Oral Roberts called the home.
What kind of
And
friend?
Joey answered. I don't know. I didn't ask too many details. I was just
Oh,
more
he just
surprised.
answered and was like, "Hey, is Tony home?"
Something like that.
He's like, "Oh
Something
my God,
along
it's
those
on."
lines. But he's spoken to the Oral Roberts.
I have so little confidence that is true.
It's just a
I'd
weird
go as
thing
far as to
lie
say it's
about.
definitely not. It is a weird thing to
So
lie about.
obscure. I just don't feel like it's true. All right, guys, let's get into our game of hypothetically. If this is your first time joining us, this game is simple. I'm going to pose some philosophical questions, some would you rather, some hypotheticals. And these guys just have to answer. Overthink the hell out of their answer. You guys ready?
I can do
Yeah.
that.
All right, your first hypothetically prompt. Would you rather be able to speak every language fluently or be able to communicate with animals?
Oh
Jay,
my
You and I have had an
This is
extensive debate on this in
brutal,
the
dude.
past. I don't think it's brutal is the problem. And that's why I've pissed some people off. I think this one is one of the easier hypotheticals we've done.
Well, let me ask some questions here.
Yeah.
With the communicating with animals thing, do they immediately know, when they see me, do they immediately know that I can communicate with them?
No.
Because like I wouldn't want it to be like every animal's coming to me with their problems, you know?
No, I think it would work
You
the
wanna be
same as the
Dr.
human
Dolittle?
language, where you wouldn't necessarily, people wouldn't just walk up to you assuming you know how to speak every language.
So I could pull the old thing where they're like, a dog comes barking at me. They're like, woof, woof, I want a snack. And I'm just
You're
like,
just
"Sorry."
staring ahead.
I just do the old human thing. I'm like, no habla. No,
But you
habla.
accidentally look over once and he's like, did he hear me?
Did he hear me? My dog definitely thinks that though. Like every once in a while, the dog will hit me with the paw and I'll actually like take her outside and she'll be like, oh, he does understand me. He does get me. So okay, that's definitely a plus for that side. And of course, on the language side, I could definitely ignore people if I felt like it too.
And animal intelligence will remain the same, correct? Like what they're communicating to me is what their thoughts are, just translated into human language.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with that being said, we don't necessarily know what animals are thinking.
True.
So there may be surprises. I'm not saying that it's going to be as dumb or useless as you might think. I'm just saying that we don't know.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
a big unknown here for sure. Like there's definitely more unknown on that side. There's more upside on the animal side, or things that you do not know that could provide upside. But I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I don't know. I got a pretty good idea of what my dog thinks.
George says, do you want to speak a bunch of languages or be Aquaman? Come on.
Aquaman's pretty tight, dude.
It's a good point, George.
Dolphins. I feel like even talking to dolphins might be disappointing because they're smart, but they're kind of up to something. They're kind of up to stuff. They seem like they might be mean.
I've heard they're real dicks.
That's what I'm thinking, dude. I'm
I
like,
could
I
talk
don't
to them,
know,
not
dude. I don't know if they'd be friends with me, you know?
Prehensile.
So yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of tough.
So on the languages side, was it understand or communicate in?
Was it
What was
say
the
it again?
what was the verb?
Be able
around
to
the-
communicate with animals?
No, the other one.
Would you rather be able to speak every language fluently or be able to communicate with animals?
Can I understand every language fluently?
Yeah.
Okay, just
good.
wanted to make sure. I meet someone who speaks Vietnamese and I can speak to them, but they talk back and I'm like, no
I
clue.
think that
man.
would make this a little too easy.
That would make it a little bit too easy. Now, I understand the argument against the languages one is maybe it's not as readily useful. Like I live in a house with my dog every day. I don't necessarily interact with people who speak other languages every day, but it's a lot more often than you might think. And the interactions are of higher value from like a utility standpoint for me. I live in San Antonio. 60% of the city speaks Spanish as their first language. English is a second language for the majority of the city that I live in. That would be wildly useful to be able to speak Spanish. There's been multiple instances where I'm out and I have difficulty communicating with someone. My dad's family, all from the Netherlands. He's the only one that lives in the US. It would be really great if I could speak to them in their native language instead of having them try to speak to me in English, right? I feel rude when I go there and they're all talking to me. And then on top of that, it just opens the door for travel. Wherever you want to go, you can navigate so much better. You can make friends. You can make connections whenever you speak the language. Like the human connection aspect of it is so cool. Right now, there's such a limited portion of the world that I'm able to have that level of connection with. If it's
if I can speak every language, then we're golden, man.
I'm shit talking some crows.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is that me being a massive show off, they both are very appealing. Like obviously being able to just like talk every single language, you're like kind of a super boss, like super cool, right? I would definitely wear a beret. The being able to talk to animals though, like that's another level of something because that's something no one else can do. There are people out there that know every language, but like for me to be able to talk to animals, like I'd be going on talk shows, I'd be doing Ellen. But the downside, is Ellen still have a show? I'd be doing whatever show is gone. I don't know.
Whatever show Ellen's doing right now.
Oprah. Yeah, wherever Ellen's at, I'd be there talking to birds or whatever, you know. But the problem you run into
talking to birds.
Problem you run into is that now it's like being a magician. Like once everyone finds out you're a magician, now they're like, do a magic trick. You know, like people will be like, what's my dog saying? Like there would definitely be people that would go out of their way to be like, I need this person to tell me what my dog is thinking. Right. So and I would have to use my powers for good somehow. Like I would have to be a veterinarian, right? Like you can't just be like, oh, what's up? You know, like once people find out that you can talk to animals, like you would have to be like some sort of high level vet. Like, what is it, Sparky? Right. So like I don't
Please
know.
tell
like,
us what Sparky's saying.
Yeah, right. Like tell us what his last words were. I would just be doing like dog deathbed rights. Like, you know, he said that, you know, you guys should have gave him more canned food because he likes that better. Sorry.
Get his ball to skip down the street.
I would have to be making
stuff
stuff
to
up.
no one.
I have to make something like, do you really want to know what he said? Because I would just be like making things up. He says he loves you very much, you know, not that like he's always been jealous that the neighbors had better toys. So like I got to go with the language thing.
The other problem that presents itself that I just thought of while you were talking, Coop, with the animal one is you're the only one. How is anybody to believe you besides just taking your word? And sure, you can provide proof. Like, look, I can tell this dog to do something and he'll do it. I can tell this horse to do like there's instances, but there would always be doubters. Like it's reminiscent of like the horse that could do math. Know what I mean? Where they were trying to figure it out. And even if you go back and I think one of you guys shared this in Moreau, you know, or maybe I just read it. There was a horse that could do math. And even the owner did not know that he was giving cues to the horses. He truly believed his horse did math, but he was giving like nonverbal, like facial expressions that the horse, or that he didn't even know he was giving the horse to know when the right number of hoof stomps was to finish the math problem.
Wow.
See?
Smart horse.
So I'm saying, like, with things like that, people might doubt you with the animal one, but with
like
the language one, you can just be like, I can speak Vietnamese. They're like, prove it. Okay.
But you could silence the doubters.
I could pick
silence doubters real quick with like TikTok nowadays, YouTube.
I could pick the language one and just be like, I know all the languages and I can speak to animals, and then just make the rest of it up, you know? And George makes a good point that I would be like, George says Coop would be a great, just lie. Coop says I would be a great animal couple therapist. And that would, dude, I'd probably get kidnapped by like the mob to like help them like breed horses. Or I'd spend all my time at the zoo trying to make the pandas.
Is that what you think the mob does?
If I was a mobster and there was a guy that could talk to horses, I would definitely like steal that guy and make
We're not even breeding horses, but we need that guy and we need to start breeding horses.
I'll tell you right now, anything that involves high level gambling, the mob is involved. So you better believe they're involved with horse racing.
Oh, they're going to get that done. Jill, how are you going to prove without a doubt to like the doubters that you can talk to animals? Like what is where they can say, okay, like I see it, whenever they can't communicate with animals themselves?
I think the moment that like the horse thing you brought up is a single example and you can debunk it. The moment that you have like 2, 3, 4 instances that can't be debunked, people are going to start believing you. You're going to be pretty famous. Like I don't think it's going to be somewhere where you have to prove people wrong for a long time. That's my conjecture. I'm not saying as the game host here. I'm saying that just as a participant,
I'm with you.
Observer.
I'm just curious because like, I guess maybe I'm a bit more cynical. Like I would probably continue to doubt the guy who claims he can talk to animals, even with the confirmed cases. Just like I doubt the psychics and the mediums on television. Not that it would be the same thing, but if I had no context and all of a sudden there's a TV show about a guy that can talk to animals, I'm probably like, doubt.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
dropping
fair.
It.
And George in the chat said, speaking Spanish is cool, but imagine telling 2 hawks to pick you up and fly you anywhere.
Are they going to listen? I think that's a big point of why people wouldn't believe Simon, is because I think that a lot of the answers would be what we would expect from these animals that are like dumb. Like birds would be like, "Give me some food," and Simon would be like, "What are they saying, Simon?" And he'd be like, "They're just kind of chirping at each other.
Just keep saying caw.
They're just yelling at each other, right?" He says that he wants to have sex with that other bird, and we're just like, "Okay, like, all right, that's probably what it said," but I mean, we have no way of knowing.
You know, I have been taking it all the other way, and the animals communicating to us, and I understand. Probably the bigger benefit of this is like my dog being able to understand what I'm saying to him. Like whenever there's fireworks, I can just be like, "Hey, bud, like I promise none of those are going to hurt you. Like we're totally okay. It's just a loud noise. Like everything's safe." And have him just be like, "Okay." Like, because I think he trusts me. Like he has shown he trusts me, but he can't understand in that time. All he knows is loud noise.
That's what I'm saying. In that sense, just being able to talk to just your own dog sounds better than like the
talking to anyone, any human, any other human.
Like if you could pick just my own dog, but then I don't have to talk to other animals, I think that's the one I would pick. Yeah, I guess that's always an option, is I could just ignore everything else and just pretend like I don't have this power, right?
Like any of these, it's got the upsides and the downsides.
Sure does, dude. Sure does.
I think I would take it just because of that, but I can see why most people wouldn't. So Simon, which side are you on? You're taking the languages, right?
I'm taking the languages. In jail, I do think you said most people wouldn't. I think most people do agree with you. Most people are taking the animals. I remember a Twitter poll. I think you might have put it out, or maybe Jeff Bell put it out about a year ago with a similar question like this, and I was shocked whenever animals won. But I think a lot of people agree with you. I'm taking the languages. I want to be able to communicate with everyone, travel anywhere, translate anything, watch media in other languages, read books in their original text.
The first thing I'm doing is I'm watching all those, what is it? The Studio Ghibli movies.
Animes?
In the original Japanese.
In Japanese, yeah, for sure. Because I bet it hits different.
It probably does hit different.
Nick in the chat said, "Animals, you can learn languages later, but that's a gift you can't learn."
I'm not learning other languages at this point. It's not happening.
But you can.
But I
You're
can.
able to.
Yeah, but it's the same result.
All right, let's get into our next hypothetically prompt here. Wait, Coop, which side did you take on that last one?
I took the all the languages.
Languages too. All right. Our next prompt: would you rather have fingers as long as your legs, or legs as long as your fingers?
Okay. First question.
Coop goes.
Let me try this one out. All right. First question. Like, so fingers as long as my legs, or legs as long as my fingers. Does that mean the current length? So like my fingers would become longer, or in this instance, like I would have very short fingers and very short legs, or also very long fingers and very long legs?
I don't know how to answer that question.
I think, Coop, if I'm understanding this correctly, take the length of your legs currently.
Yeah.
And that would be the length of all of your fingers individually. Or take the length of your fingers currently, and that would be the length of your legs. The other limb stays unaffected in each scenario.
Yep.
Okay. I think
so. Do my legs support me? And like, are all body parts functional in this case?
Yeah.
Like cumbersome, not ideal, but like I don't have to worry about like collapsing.
For sure. You're right. Inconvenient, not debilitating though.
Are my feet the same size?
Your feet are
I don't know if the math works on that.
I mean, how could they not be?
What about the width of the leg? Is it the width it is now? Like what are we talking? Like it's really short. Is it just my thigh? Like do I just have like two stumps at the bottom of my body with feet sticking off the bottom of them? Or is it like my ankle portion that's the length of my finger?
I think everything, the proportion stays the same as much as it can, except for the length. No. It's not like
click the corner box and drag it down until its fingers.
I'll tell you right now, dude. I gotta interject, dude. There's no way in the world I'm picking these little stump legs. You guys, there's no version of these stump legs that you can just change it to that I would pick. Like, so my answer's pretty easy. The only question is how I'm taking advantage of these crazy fingers. Like I would probably be the best arm wrestler in the world. I'd be unstoppable, right?
Because your grip strength would cover their whole body. You go to hold their hand and then grab their head included with it.
Yeah, I just like shut up. Just
Slowly slides around their arm.
yeah,
Slithers.
yeah.
If you had the
so-
long fingers here, Coop, I got a way that you could benefit from this. Join a circus, be the sword swallower guy, but instead of using a sword, just use your leg long finger to shove it all the way down your throat.
I'd be like, if I had any sort of vertical
Vomit
leap,
anyway.
I'd be an unstoppable end zone target. Just my hands might be actually too big to catch football.
It's gonna freaking snap your fingers. A Patrick Mahomes football coming at leg length fingers. Those fingers are just,
My
just
finger.
cracking.
I don't get the
You're
width.
gonna be able to
I don't get the width.
You don't get the hand grip.
Oh no.
How far apart your knuckles are. Those segments of finger are going to be so big.
Chase said, "I don't like the path this prompt is taking."
Yeah, we're going on a very weird.
Dustin
Where
said,
else
"I
can
could
you
palm
shove
so
those
many
fingers?
basketballs at once."
Yeah.
Ew.
You still got the same size palm. Like, are you just like?
Dude,
That's a good point, Sam.
I'm choosing
Prob-
that one.
I'm trying to think. Both of these make it difficult for any of the athletic activities that I enjoy doing. I think rock climbing is impossible with the fingers. Like, I just don't think it's possible with the fingers. Though, for bouldering, the walls are only like 15 feet tall. I could probably just jump and reach up and grab the top of every single one. I'd be the world's best boulderer.
Good.
I'm winning the world championship as long as I can get on the start hold.
Yeah, you're
You
friggin' hold anything with just one finger and then swing yourself probably.
You just reach
Bowling.
the top.
Bowling would be insane. Like I don't know how you would manage it, or it would just be like a little tiny thing. Like this, and you just, like flicking it like
ravels up inside the ball.
Jason, how would you
Yeah, I
use
don't
your
know.
cell phone? Like this. Call JL Garofalo.
Or like this.
I'd use it from across the room.
Yeah.
You
Tim-
set your
Tim,
font to Boomer.
Yeah. Boomer huge. Tim said my eyes would thank me for picking the fingers. I can finally sit the appropriate length away from my computer.
Yeah, just chilling, dude. You need like some sort of like binoculars or something to see the screen.
It would just
though.
be gibberish because you couldn't read. You're too far away.
Yeah.
You can stir your jug of Kool-Aid or Tang with just your finger. It'll go all the way to
Boiling
the
hot
bottom of the
tea.
picture. Boiling hot tea. Yes, you
Keith-
can do that as well.
Keith said this is so insensitive against people with finger legs.
Finger legs. Don't
Yeah.
say finger legs.
And that is the prompt. Wait, is finger legs better than leg fingers though? To say?
Yes.
Give me the finger legs. I'm fine with that. I was short most of my life, and I can maneuver around on my arms. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to get strong as hell,
Swing
just
it
like
everywhere.
like walking around like this all the time.
It's leg fingers. If only for Halloween. I'll be Slender Man. Just walking around like
Leg fingers it is for both these guys. I like it.
no,
No, I
I
did
picked, we
finger
picked
legs.
two different ones. He picked finger
Oh,
legs.
finger leg. Okay.
That's why I'm walking
Finger
like
leg.
this, because I got stumpy legs. My legs are
I
going
thought
to be
Coop
my
did
arms
that
are going to be
too.
long enough.
No, I picked the
Coop, you're taking.
I picked the finger leg. The
Like
whichever
fingers.
one.
You,
Whichever
you
one.
see that you see the problem with this
See the,
terminology
I'm
we've
getting
chosen,
it.
huh?
I get
Finger
it.
legs or leg fingers? What's so confusing here, guys? Come on.
Legs as
Pick
long
me.
as your fingers, or fingers as long as your legs.
I picked the ones that go on your hand. Oh, did you have a normal thumb?
That's
and
what
it's just your four fingers?
Simon picked. didn't it? No,
No.
you picked the normal. Okay, the short one. I was thinking, I was combining the two in my head,
I
where
think we
you
may
would
have-
have short legs but really long fingers to swing everywhere.
I think
I'm
we
just
may have
walking with my
reached.
fingertips.
I think we may have reached the end of this prompt.
Well, guys, coming up, we've got our friend Eric Moody from ESPN coming on to draft the best basketball players of all time with us. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Talk about your picks and your fantasy teams on Better Sports Network.
The importance of checking out the site that you're playing on. Default rankings of these sites. A lot of times they don't get updated. I know from experience. I used to write default rankings for the NFBKC, the basketball version of the NFBC. I'd write these default rankings in June for the NBA, before the NBA draft, before free agency opened up. And guess what? I was never asked to write an update article or update the default rankings. This happens a lot. Maybe if there's something obvious, it gets updated. Aaron Judge, for some reason, hurts his back. Maybe they make that change.
just maybe, but you don't know that. And that's why it's just so important that you show up to your draft room or you do that pre-draft prep. We're all busy. We know we're about to devote a lot of time to our fantasy baseball drafts. Why not spend the extra 20 to 25 minutes to invest properly in your team, to go and see which of those players are way down default rankings? They're going to be different on all of these sites, and you're going to be looking at them and going, maybe their analysts think a certain player who shouldn't be in the top 100, who should be maybe even not even the top 200, will be in that top 100. You got to check that out. You got to know where you're playing when you sign up for the league. It's just so crucial, and people just skip right over it. You think it's cool to show up to the draft room 3 minutes before the draft. Well, number one, it's not cool because the commissioner's trying to organize, especially me, who runs auctions. You can't, it's one thing if someone doesn't show up for the snake draft, oh well, doesn't ruin it for everyone. Auctions, you can't have someone not show up. Auto bidding, auto auctioning, it ruins the sanctity of those drafts here, which is why I always recommend, hey, make it easy on your commissioner. Don't make them send those texts there. It's annoying. You shouldn't have to do that. Don't wait till the last minute and get in there about 20, 25 minutes before so you can just look up and down the entire default rankings list so you can make a queue out of that, Ron. And the reason I keep saying this is because people still show up 2, 3 minutes before the draft, and that's it. In fact, in one of my auctions, people were asking me where certain players were, and I go, did you search their name? No, I just got in. Well, that's no excuse right there. That's your own fault. I mean, you're organized, so you're a hard person to ask here.
You're getting those questions. This is your preschool league, right? People don't know how to search player names.
People freak out. They don't think. That's the problem. Because they show up 2 minutes before the draft. That's why.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. Joining us right now, we've got our great friend Eric Moody joining the show. For those of you that do not know Eric covers the NFL, the NBA, and the WNBA over at ESPN. You'll catch him on the TV sometimes, and you better be following him on Twitter at Eric N. Moody. Moody, thanks so much for joining us today, my friend.
No, happy to be here. Anytime I get the invite, I will make it happen. I've got my coffee here, ready to rock and roll. I'm still rocking the holiday mug. I just like it too much to give it up. Sorry.
I respect the hell out of that, Moody.
I wore a Christmas shirt on the show yesterday, Moody. I have
my Christmas tree is still up.
I wore 2 Christmas shirts this week. I wore one on Sunday as well, a different one.
I have this Christmas bottle of Woodford Reserve, and my wife, who doesn't even drink bourbon, makes me, anytime I buy a new bottle of Woodford, pour it into the Christmas one to keep the Christmas going. Yeah, so we all at this house, we also keep Christmas going all year round as well.
Well, Moody, we usually bring you on to talk football, but today we're talking one of your other expertise. We're going to talk some basketball, some NBA, the greatest basketball players of all time. We're doing a draft of these players. Do we have a draft order, JL?
Yes, we do. It is Simon JL Moody Coop.
Oh, that's so
according to our random number.
I
generator.
I gotta say right now, I love that spot for me, assuming I can get the guy I want. So let's.
I hate my spot. I wanted number 2. I wanted the second spot in this draft because I'm gonna piss some people off with my first pick. I just wanted to avoid that vitriol today, but looks like it's gonna happen. I've got the first overall pick, and it doesn't. I'm about to piss off so many people with this horrible picks. This one I know is going to cause controversy because it causes controversy every single time it's brought up. With the first overall pick, I am taking LeBron James. LeBron James is the first pick going to my team. I understand I didn't watch Jordan play. I get it. But what I got to watch LeBron do is like cemented in my brain forever. This dude brought 3 different teams NBA championships and single-handedly won one for the Cavs. That was pure willpower from LeBron James pulling that out. He's got 1 less MVP than Michael Jordan. I understand that. Dustin and Jay already calling me idiots in the chat.
Murder.
Don't listen to him, Simon.
I love
Don't
that
listen to him.
Jay is a Duke fan, and Michael Jordan went to UNC, and Jay goes, wrong.
Wrong. Moody, where
It's
do you
LeBron.
land on this debate? Is the LeBron MJ debate too much?
I think it is too much. It's not really a dispute for me. I would say it's like a formality. You got to have Michael Jordan as the number one option, best player in my opinion in the NBA's 75 year history. Case closed. LeBron's not in the conversation. That's what I'll say about it.
It's the polite thing to do, Moody. It's the polite thing to do, right, Moody?
That's all I got.
Here are my thoughts on it.
I love it.
There you go. That's my opinion.
Pictures worth 1,000 words. Love it.
Well, Simon's gonna piss people off. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna take Michael Jordan.
I love that. The thing is, even there is an argument. Like Simon has an argument, and I love entertaining the arguments, but it's also more fun to be like, boo.
Hal in the chat saying LeBron smokes Jordan in longevity and in not taking 2 years off because of gambling.
Look at
least I got Hal on my side. Everyone else, it's me and Hal versus the world, baby. And John Luke, you took Michael Jordan.
I'm gonna take Michael Jordan, and I'm kind of sad that I'm in the spot. I'll explain it later.
Okay. JL grabbing MJ, which means Moody, you're on the clock. LeBron and MJ, the two names that get brought up most often in that GOAT conversation, gone. But who are you taking with number 3 here?
Yeah, I would say with number 3, I'm going with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Nice pick.
Good pick.
Why? I'm like, I know LeBron James broke the scoring record, all-time leading scorer, but you still look at Jabbar. I'm like, what, 38,387 points? I'm like, that record looked unbreakable, for decades. He's got the patented sky hooked. He has, great health throughout his career, 20 seasons. I'm like, he put up some numbers that we've rarely witnessed. I know LeBron is an anomaly with his longevity and what he's been able to do, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was phenomenal. So that's who I'm going with.
Yeah, he's also such a great dude. And now he's still hanging writing articles. He even does movie reviews that I've read that are awesome. Like this guy
he's one of my favorite people.
He's like the coolest dude.
He's fantastic.
Yeah. He's like the coolest.
He's awesome.
Now I got to ask you guys, in case we do get to 5 rounds, which is our goal, we might settle on 3. Are we trying to build the starting 5 to some degree, or just best players in general?
Just best players.
Just best players. Okay. So for me at the swing pick here, and I saw my dad in the chat earlier, so he would be beside himself if with one of my 2 picks here, I did not take Larry Bird. It's just we're in Boston. Yeah, he's just an absolute legend here, and he's a legend to everybody. And his highlights are so much fun to watch. You go back and watch, the tip pay, like a rebound will come to him, and instead of grabbing, you tip it to another player, right? Like he would just do the behind the back, the 3-point contest where he shoots. He needs one more bucket to win, and he knows it. He shoots, puts his hand up, and walks away without even watching it, knowing it's going in. Like Larry Bird was just the ultimate trash talker. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn this into a combo pick, right? There's a bunch of names that I don't want to name drop anybody, spoil anybody, but I know there's a lot of guys here. Dustin already sees what I'm doing. I'm going Magic at the turn, man. I'm going Magic Johnson. These two were big time rivals, LA versus Boston. And when I was a kid, I actually got to go to because the Basketball Hall of Fame is in Springfield, Massachusetts, where the game was invented. I actually got to go to the Hall of Fame. We got tickets, and I watched the speech where Larry Bird was inducted in the Hall of Fame, and Magic Johnson did the speech, and it was one of the defining moments of my childhood. So being able to take both those guys here at the swing couldn't get better for me.
Even without the bias. Great picks. Even you're saying, I have to take Larry Bird. I think Larry Bird was in conversation for a pick there, and he's my favorite player to hear other NBA greats talk about.
Yes.
Every time I hear any other one of the that's where a lot of my respect for Larry Bird comes from, is the way other players talk about playing against that man, playing with that man. That dude was bad on the court, is what it sounds like.
It's so far. They were like, then Larry turned to me, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna shoot from right here. We're gonna win the game." And he goes, and sure enough, they get the ball. Larry come down and do that exact thing. What a jerk. So some people might pick Magic first, but I have the swing, so I get to pick Bird first because I'm a Boston guy. You see the Boston stuff all over here.
There you go. Well, Moody, that puts you back on the clock. Bird and Johnson gone. Who are you pairing with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on your team?
Yeah, you know what? I was going to go with Larry Bird there, so I do like that pick. But if I'm thinking of someone to pair with Kareem, I may be overlooking a couple of players here, but I'm actually going to go with Tim Duncan here. And here's why.
Son of a gun, Moody. That was going to be my turn. I thought for sure no one's going to snag Tim Duncan before the end of the season. Oh my God, the level of tilt. Sorry, go ahead. All
right, so I would just say, in the NBA, in the association, we've seen a ton of great players, but I just haven't seen as many as good as Duncan. As for as long as Duncan is and unique as he is as a player, I'm like, he was dominant, but he was never really overwhelming. And I'm like, he played very well with the supporting cast. And if we're building this hypothetical team, I think pairing someone like Tim Duncan with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the way to go here. I was also kind of thinking about Kobe, but I like big, so I'm going with Duncan here.
The cool thing celebrating that move. He was hoping. The reason he didn't like his first pick is because he wanted Kobe on his team. 100%. He didn't think he'd get back, and here he is sitting there. And I thought for sure, there's other players that they're going to save first. I'll be able to grab Timmy here at the end.
Moody, do you know that Simon's based in he lives in San Antonio?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So
this man is like Greek god status here, the way they talk about him. Everyone talks about him like he's their next door neighbor and lifelong best friend. Like, oh yeah, Timmy dropped his kids off at school the other day. Said hey to him. Like,
I just love that he's the ultimate teammate. And then his nickname. Do you guys know his nickname, Simon Joe?
No,
so
it's escaping me. What is it?
It's the big fundamental. The big fundamental.
Fundamental.
And I'll tell you, he was automatic with that banking in and off the glass. Like if you got it to him on the block, anywhere from the block to the 3-point line, he could put it in off the glass. It was the most automatic shot in all of basketball for a long time. So, like you said, not super flashy, but if you're just trying to win the game, Tim Duncan.
That's the guy you want on your team.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, John Luke, you're on the clock now. Tim Duncan gone, unfortunately for you. So you'll have to pick from the players that are left. Who are you drafting?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of summarized all my talking points already, but Kobe, he's got to go here. I thought for sure he would not make it back to me here in the second round, but I am psyched. I understand that probably a lot of basketball purists will say, I don't know, there's some other options to put ahead of Kobe. But I'm adding in this element of also, he is the player who I have the most fun watching, or have had the most fun watching. So I have to put him in there. He's the one I would rather have out of all these players on my team.
You just gained a lot of points with Ani Coop.
Let's go. Ani Coop.
Big Lakers fan, massive Kobe fan. I even as a Celtics fan, I have a Kobe shirt that I wear all the time that Ani Coop got me because he's just the man. Rest in peace, dude. I miss him.
Real.
And he is the player that some of the Laker greats, Magic Johnson, and the player I'm going to pick next, Shaquille O'Neal, crowned as the greatest Laker ever, even after the retirement. So I'm taking Shaq. I thought
I was going to have to settle for.
No, I'm taking the greatest big to ever play the game. 7'1". How big was he at his height? Like 350 plus, 360, and out there just dominating the game. He's one of the only all-time greats I've seen live in the NBA. I got to see him whenever he was playing for the Miami Heat. Came up to Atlanta, played against the Hawks, and God, it's shocking how big that man is and how athletic he is out there. So I'm going to take Shaquille O'Neal. I don't know if we will ever see as big and as dominant of a player as Shaquille O'Neal was.
No,
so
he was ripping the rims off, like ripping them off the hoops.
And just as a dude, now he's just doing what he likes. Like he wants to be a DJ, he goes out and DJs. Like whatever Shaq wants to do, Shaq's doing now. So I just like him as a dude, and I like him as a player. I don't know if we'll ever see a player play like that quite again. I'm gonna take
like a deputy sheriff somewhere. Like, he just does whatever he wants. Yeah.
Constantly just does whatever he wants. My next pick here, I feel like because I got LeBron, I'm going to get hate for having a modern team, but I feel like you guys took a lot of the great, not as modern players. So I'm going to go with the dude that changed the game entirely, Steph Curry. I'm going to throw Steph Curry on this team. I think he belongs in the top 10. We're down here at the end of round 2. And I don't know many players that have had as big of an impact on how the game is played in the modern era than Steph Curry had. Watching him chuck up threes, Jay talked about it. He saw him play live in college and was like, oh, this dude's not going to be anything in the NBA. He just chucks up threes. And then now he can pull up from half court. And if nobody's marking him, he's going to make it.
Steph Curry is a good pick. I didn't think you take him there, Simon. I thought that Moody or Coop would take him.
He would not have gotten past the swing.
Yeah.
No chance.
I don't know if he would have gotten past me. All right, I'm on the clock now.
You're on the clock,
sir.
You're on the clock.
All right. I have a couple routes I can go here. I'm gonna go with Bill Russell.
Bill
Russell. Yeah. That many championships, you gotta have a place in the all-time list here.
Definitely.
As a Celtics guy, I gotta drop the greatest Bill Russell factoid of all time is that in his whole career, in loser goes home situations, he never lost a single game. Every time he made it to the high school championship, national championship, won. Went through the NCAA tournament, won every time. In the NBA, he never lost a game 7, never lost a game 6 where they were going to go home. This guy, every single time it was winner takes all, he won. The dude is the ultimate winner. And he won the Olympics. Like he's a winner, man. Bill Russell.
MVP 5 times.
Is that good?
Insane.
I probably should have taken just him, but I didn't want to go full homer, double homer move.
Double homer.
Yeah.
Well, Moody, you're back on the clock now with your pick with JL taking Mr. Bill Russell. You've got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Tim Duncan on your squad so far. Where are you going next?
All right, so I'm gonna go old school here. So I'm gonna go with Oscar Robertson.
Great pick.
I'm like he's the OG perimeter scoring force. Now I know the league now is really position, we'll say ambiguous, but one thing about Robertson, I'm like he was the OG like big guard in my opinion, and so I think he will pair very, very nicely with Tim Duncan and also with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that's who I'm going with.
I love that pick, dude.
That's a good one.
People forget about the big O.
Everybody's going to forget about Oscar Robertson, and Moody's not.
Not everyone.
He gets him.
Yeah.
Moody's stepping in to make sure we got that covered. I mean, there's a guy I have to take here. I'm wondering if he was actually taken and I missed it. Did anyone pick Wilt Chamberlain?
No.
He's on my list.
I think I'm gonna take Wilt Chamberlain. Then he scored 100 points, dude. Hooked up with a zillion chicks. I mean, what more can you ask for in this world? I mean, those are facts. Those are facts. Both those things are facts. So yeah, give me Wilt. I mean, because if we are, I know we're not doing it as like building a top 5, but like I have so much razzle dazzle with Kareem and with Bird and Magic, right? Like that I do need a little bit of just the sky hook from the paint. I need somebody in there to I wanted Shaq. Shaq was the guy. Shaq or I have so much razzle dazzle. I really needed Tim Duncan to settle these boys down. Just imagine Bird and Magic, just elbow passes and nonsense. I do need some fundamentals. But
did you watch Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Yeah, dude.
That was my introduction to Wilt Chamberlain. Was the basketball playing imaginary friend named Wilt, the really tall, lanky one who always did the hook shots, just constantly was over there doing hook shots.
And for my next pick, I have a lot. I'm going to pick a modern player. I have a lot of older players on this team. I'm going to take.
Don't do it.
I'm going to take Kevin Durant here.
You little
Kevin Durant he's the exact guy
out of here.
Yeah, the Slim Reaper, Durantula. He's the exact kind of guy that when you watch him, he makes it look too easy, almost like it's like ruining the game. He's so smooth and he's so good that it's just he makes the game look so simple where it's obviously not. But when you're that big and you can dribble like a guard and shoot like a guard, then I guess it is. And I just love the clips of him, not even just in the NBA, but when he goes and plays at like Rucker Park or goes and he'll go and play these other like side games. What's that one? The Drew League or whatever it is. And he is just unbelievable no matter where he is. And he'll go out and he'll just shoot from half court. He'll shoot from wherever. And the crowd going, oh, like this guy is nails wherever he is, man. So give me that dude all day long.
There you go. Kevin Durant and Wilt Chamberlain for Coop, which means Moody, you are back on the clock for your 4th round pick. Where are you rolling here?
I was thinking, no one's taken Magic Johnson yet.
I did.
Right?
He was.
I did.
You
I
took.
took
You
Okay,
took
okay.
Magic Johnson
I
with
took
Larry
Magic. Oh,
Bird
yeah,
on the
yeah.
team.
Yeah, I took Bird and Magic at the turn. The old.
Okay, true, very true. Okay, so I was thinking Magic. Let me think off the top of my head here. So no, Kobe's
Don't take mine.
gone.
Don't
You know
take
what?
mine.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with another. I'm gonna go with another big here. So double up on centers. I just can't let this guy fall anymore. But I'm gonna go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
It's a good
And
one.
so I loved watching Hakeem Olajuwon, like the highlights, and then with him in the later part of his career, when he was able to win those championships back to back with the Rockets when Jordan was experimenting with baseball, we'll say. But you look at Olajuwon, like 12. See if I can remember this. So 12 like all-star berths. The 2 championships. He was the Finals MVP in those games. He also won a regular season MVP. And he won a couple of Defensive Player of the Year awards. And so, like, he's a guy that's like often overlooked with considering the other players that he played with. Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal was kind of during the latter part of that era. So I'm gonna go with Olajuwon there. Criminally underrated, in my opinion.
It's a good pick. It's a really good pick.
Olajuwon, the postman, Tommy in the chat. He said, I think it's time for the mailman. And then Tommy said the postman. We'll see if they get drafted.
Yeah. Let's see.
Which means John Luke, you were on the clock.
Kevin Durant was the last player I wanted. Shout out DMV, PG County. Man, all right. I think I'm gonna get my number one pick, his guy. I'm gonna go Scottie Pippen.
That's smart. If you're building a team, you want to get your guy, his guy, right?
Yeah. The ETN to my Lawrence.
He would appreciate that. Yeah. And Scotty was awesome, dude. And the best part of Scotty was that contract that was like his agent signed for him that was like terrible, and it allowed them to spend money on guys like Dennis Rodman. So shout out Scottie Pippen's agent for making it all happen.
Well, I guess that puts me on the clock. Jail drafted Scottie Pippen. I'm going to take another dude who changed the game, but a little bit before my time. Dustin can't make fun of me for only taking players who played after the year 2000 anymore. I'm going to take Dr. J, Julius Erving, to add to my team here. He was a game changer. I did not get to watch, but whenever you read about his career, they talk about him being one of the first guys to kind of emphasize like that personal flair and that personal flash in the NBA. He was doing like showy dunks, getting out there, making a scene, and was the voice of the NBA. I haven't heard a coach or a player say a single bad thing about him. One of the all-time great players from a playing perspective and from a reputation around the league perspective as well.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, he had a good, I guess, a good reputation, especially amongst fans. What he was able to do with the ABA, transitioning to the NBA once the merger took place. And one thing too with Dr. J, you guys may not know this, but like he was really one of the first like black athletes that was really tapped for like national endorsements. And he just kind of had that personality where he seemed like he was the type of guy that had time like for everyone. Fans to the media, off the floor. He was that guy. So, or the first, type of player that way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
A direct impact even outside of the game of basketball as well. Dr. J had. Man, now this next pick is tough. I don't know where I want to go with this one. I'm tempted to go modern again, but I'm not sure. I'm also tempted to just pick someone that I got to watch play. You know what I'm going to do? I'm picking a duo pick here. And it's not that they played together. They're just a dynamic duo now. I'm taking Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Putting him on my
That's
team.
what I was going to go with.
I don't
I wanted
even care
Barkley.
about the playing. Barkley was a great NBA player.
He was.
He's part of the NBA 75. Unreal. But I'm picking him solely for the Shaq Barkley dynamic on my team.
That's awesome, dude. That's hilarious.
That's a great pick, Simon. Love it. My last pick here, I am gonna go with a guy that I got to watch. So I'm gonna go Kevin Garnett.
Oh no!
Gotta get my Kevin. Didn't get my original Kevin. Gotta get my second choice Kevin.
Got a Kevin Garnett card sitting right in front of me. I was just gonna.
Hey, we can
bust
swap
it out
if you want.
No, you can have Kevin. I got other guys I can take, but so good,
Kevin
man.
Garnett gone for you, which means Moody. You're back.
I
on
loved
the
watching
clock.
him. He would scare the hell out of everybody. Just smashing his head off the bottom of the hoop there, just like going. He would get me so fired up.
Man, because I was going to go with Barkley there.
Yeah,
All right, so
Payback.
yeah, it was payback. All right, I'm gonna go with my gut here. I'm just trying to think about how these players could all blend together, kind of play various positions. So I guess I'll go with Elgin Baylor here.
Okay, good.
And so I'm gonna go old school because one thing about Baylor that I like is you've got guys like we've talked about, Jordan, Kobe, Julius Irving. I was even thinking about going like Giannis here, but I'm like all of their respective games can be traced back to Baylor. Like in my opinion, I remember like a quote from Kobe. He even mentioned like, "Hey, I've stolen so many of that guy's moves," and so I think Baylor would mesh very well with the other players that I've added to this team. So I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna go with Elgin Baylor here.
Great
I love
pick,
the
man.
old school pick. In the chat, they're loving it. Tommy said, "Beast, legend." They are hyped about that pick, which means Coop, round us out. Last pick of the draft.
I got two names there's three names, but I'm not going to pick Jerry West, the logo, because I have Magic Johnson to play point guard. So I'm leaning into building a complete team. I got point guard, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain at center, and then you can put Bird and Durant wherever you want. So that the last two guys that I have are, I kind of want to pick Giannis. He's awesome, but I'm going to go with another player that I loved watching, and one of the greatest international players of all time. And I feel like we need just a little bit of international representation on here. I'm going to go with Dirk Nowitzki. I'm going to throw Dirk in there at power. I mean, you could put Durant at power forward. You could put, I'm going to put him at power forward on this team with Wilt at center, but
yeah, definitely.
I'm taking Dirk, man. He was like the fadeaway. How do you stop a guy with a fadeaway like that? That's, like almost 7 feet
that
tall.
Length.
Just kind of turn, bang. So give me Dirk.
Dirk, add him to the squad. That is the end of our draft. A quick recap of the teams. I've got LeBron James, Shaq, Steph Curry, Dr. J, and Charles Barkley. Jail's got MJ, Kobe Bryant, Bill Russell, Scottie Pippen, and Kevin Garnett. Moody has Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Tim Duncan, Oscar Robertson, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Elgin Baylor. And then Coop has Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Kevin Durant, and Dirk Nowitzki. We'll put these up on Twitter for you guys to vote on who drafted the best team here. Moody, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on and hang out with us on this Thursday morning.
Thursday.
It's always a pleasure.
Hey, always, like I mentioned at the beginning, hey, always happy to come on. Real quick, two other guys I was thinking about adding if we want another round was like John Stockton or Isaiah Thomas. Two guys I don't want to overlook, especially like Stockton. People forget by really how great that he was, especially like in his prime. So those are two guys I was thinking about. But as always, gentlemen, look forward to the invite anytime that I hear from you. Always happy to come on. And for those that are out there watching and listening, if you're not following me on Twitter, stop what you're doing. Change that right now. If you like the NBA, NFL, WNBA, fantasy, and sports betting, if you like rock music, 1990s nostalgia, I'm your guy at Eric and Moody. Make it happen.
Fantastic. Don't follow her from Moody over there. Thank you so much, Moody. Looking forward to hanging out with you again shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, gents.
Thanks, Moody.
Adios. Guys, that's going to be it for us today here on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. We'll be back tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time for more Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show goodness. Stick around here on BSN for Moose and Keith next. And then check us out a little bit later tonight on the FanDuel YouTube channel, where we're going to be playing Pole Perception with our friend Heath Cummings and Pub Trivia right after that. Until then, though, we are out of here. Adios, everyone.